employees, I'm going to the platform.
Hold on, because we're just going live. Yeah, we're just going live right now.
All employees.
Souls out. Who let the souls out? Who let the souls out? Who let the souls out? Swimming with the souls. Oh yeah. Swimming with the souls. Like a little tadpole. Oh yeah. Swimming with the souls. Swimming upstream with the bass. Swimming with the souls. Chains, huh? Dock those chains, find a better son. Dock those chains, find a better son. Dock those chains, find a better son. Beat your ass with that big ass chain. Every time I get hit, I fall in the fucking pit. Trying to dodge it, can't do shit. Every time I get hit, I fall in the fucking pit. Come on, I fucking dodge that shit. Every time I get hit, I fall in the fucking pit. Trying to dodge it, can't do shit. Every time I get hit, I fall in the fucking pit. Trying to dodge it, can't do shit. I'm the god of the dead now, bitch. I'm the god of the dead now. Oh yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Smark Guys The Revival, broadcasting live from YouTube and Kick. It is January 14th, 2025, episode 2. I'm DSP, and with me is my host, Ash. How you doing today, sir?
Good, or is the real one still in Benoit? The legendary Canadian crippler, Chris Benoit. Phil, have you ever used the Bowflex, buddy?
No, I have not. I've seen them in stores, but I've never used a Bowflex. How dare you?
Rise the Bowflex, brother Phil. Now, guys, we got some big goals today that we want to hit on this show. We got to smash it. We got to get the support going strong. Where are the tips? Where are the super chats? Where are the gifted subs? So far, nothing. I've shown up here in all of my obese glory, and yet nothing has come in. Where is the support? So, guys, today, if we hit the $500 level of support, big level of support, but if we hit it next week, we will not only be reviewing Raw, but we'll be reviewing AEW Dynamite. Apparently, my volume is low.
Yeah, I'm trying to fix it right now. I think it is adjusting.
Fuck! The volume is low. It's a technical disaster, folks. What was I thinking there, folks? Getting on this show with Phil. He's fucking it all up. Fucking boomer Phil and his
There we go.
audio and technical issues. Fucking Phil boomering it up on OBS again.
It is remarkable that I can actually do this shit. Like, I was so far removed from tech for so long, and within like 1 month, I learned everything as quickly as humanly possible.
So look, here's what we're saying, brother. For all you Philomaniacs, the PvP maniacs out there in the Smark Guys, Benoit Boys universe, in the DSP kingdom, brother, we got some support goals to hit today, dude. If we get to the $500 level of support, not only are we doing Raw next week, but we're doing AEW Dynamite as well. Now, Phil's never seen AEW Dynamite.
None. I've never seen a single AEW match of any kind. Only like clips
Really?
on X. That's it. I've never seen a real match from them. Yeah.
So you're really getting in at the best time for AEW then, Phil.
Someone said it best yesterday, because I was talking with my chat yesterday on stream, and they said the problem with AEW is that they peaked early. Their best stuff was right at the beginning, and now they're just like floundering years later. And I'm like, oh, great. Now I'm going to start watching it. So now it's like, you know, like mid-level Impact shit and shit. Like, I'm going to watch some of the worst plot lines.
Perry the White for 5 gifted subs. And we got Andrew Juarez for $2 saying, best wrestling talk show, 2 episodes in, DSPPP are goated. Well, we're going to need you to add some zeros to that if we're going to hit the contribution goal. Come on, Perry, only 5 gifted subs? Let's step it up, Perry. Let's make this shit happen. Let's hit the AEW show watch goal right away.
We got Rare Tricks.
Guys.
Rare Tricks over on Kick for 10 subs over on Kick.
10 subs. He has heard the call and answered with 10 subs. Let's get some more subs over there on Kick. The Honorable Judge Cashman has gifted 5 subs as well. Come on, guys. Let's step it up. Let's hit this $500 level of support right away. We deserve it. You guys deserve it. We as a community are going to get that AEW review as long as you guys aren't smelly, poor, broke, fat wrestling fans. Prove to everybody that you're groomed, showered, thin, sexy, and rich there with some big dono bombs. Come on, let's go.
There we go.
It's Benoit Boys. And
Perry
we
the
got
White.
another 5 gifted subs from Perry.
Thank you, Perry.
More like it, Perry. But come on, We know you've got a bit more in there, Perry. We know you can dig a bit deeper, Perry. Come on. The cream is going to rise to the top.
Very nice.
The top of the leaderboard crop. It's a cash crop. The money smells so good. I'm going to buy so many replica title belts. Phil's going to get the $1 million title there.
Hell yeah.
And he's going to be sexy as all fuck. Speaking of which, Phil.
Yes.
I heard there was a massive controversy, a massive scandal that has rocked the DSP kingdom to its core. Apparently, Phil's fat. Phil has tits.
I have man boobs. Man boobs.
True, it's a man boob alert. Man boob alert. Phil, what's the deal, buddy?
Oh, I've been working on them. You know, I've been taking lactation drugs, obviously, to build these suckers up. I'm trying to get to the other demographic, you know?
You're getting on the hormone replacement therapy, Phil?
Of course.
Is that what you're telling me, Phil?
That's
well,
right.
We got to appeal to the liberal viewers somehow. But, I honestly, so I've been sent, right? As you might be aware, or probably not, because we keep this under wraps, I'm on what's called the Council of Obesity, Phil. And this is composed of people of calories. You know, Boogie's on the Council of Obesity. Wings is on the Council of Obesity.
Wow.
And I've been tasked to come here and decide if you, Phil, should be on the Council of Obesity. If you should be granted rank as a master of obesity, Phil.
So it's like you got Professor X, you got Reed Richards, you got Doctor Strange, all on the Marvel Illuminati Council, but you just have it for obesity on the internet.
It's
gotcha.
kind of like we run things. We run the affairs of the obese. And, you know, if somebody obese steps out of line, it's pretty easy to take them out with the heart attack gun. Everybody's like, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that fat motherfucker was probably due to die any fucking day now. Oh, Phil, I'm submitting the video evidence, Phil.
Oh, here we go.
I'm submitting the video evidence right now, so I just sent it to you on Discord. Let's pull this up.
Oh, boy.
This is apparently Phil exposed in 4K as a man-titted member of the Council of Obesity. Let's have a look here, guys.
Oh, crap. If I bring this up, though, you won't be full screen anymore because I don't know how to jump between videos yet.
I'm always kind of full screen. I'm always kind of on the wider screen there.
Let me see. All right, this might fuck it. Hold it. You know what? Hold on a second before I fuck everything up. Let's make sure I don't fuck everything up, guys. Let's just do this quick.
Well, I'm pretty sure it's going to be the case.
There we are. Okay, let's do this now. Okay, so I can make this full screen and then I can re-add it. Oh, no. Here we go. Okay, let's examine this evidence. We're going to do it.
The evidence that Phil is obese, that Phil is fat.
Here we go. Ready?
Phil has surpassed me in size, apparently so.
We're going to do this. Video evidence. All right, here we go.
We're doing it right now. Let's have a look here.
Oh, wow.
You can see there. Phil
look at those. Look at those milkers.
Okay, just to show you.
Phil.
Yes.
Look. It's
Phil.
the actual shirt.
What's going on, buddy? Too many Popeyes meals there, buddy? Too much DoorDash, buddy? What are you? Look at this shit, Phil. And you're trying to like cope with pulling down the shirt, but it only makes you look more titted, bro.
It's the stupid shirt.
Are we getting you the bro? Are we getting you the man bra, Phil? Oh no, Phil!
Here we go.
Phil, the pictorial evidence has arrived.
I can't. How can I dispute it? It's awful, right? I mean, I'm huge.
Phil, I think you're going to be on the Council of Obesity, but we can't grant you the rank of master because, unfortunately, it doesn't look like you're quite in the 300-pound club yet.
Son of a bitch.
But it looks like you might have to lay off those hormones to get off the Council of Obesity there. You can't be a person of calories, Phil. One of us has to stay skinny and sexy. And it's sure as fuck not going to be me, Phil.
My problem is I have a habit of holding on to clothes like way too long. And that shirt is like, I'm not even kidding you. That shirt's over a decade old, and it used to fit me like nice. And now I look awful.
Don't stop it. Phil.
I look
Don't
awful in it now. I'm not
Phil.
coping. I know I was
Phil.
wearing it yesterday. It was bothering me. I'm looking at it, I'm like, oh God, I look terrible in this fucking shirt. Like,
Phil,
I didn't think I was going to look that
big.
bad.
What are you doing, Phil? You don't have mirrors? Did you not look in the mirror, Phil?
Actually, the thing is with my setup, and a lot of people don't know, my camera is actually quite high, like with my setup. So when it films with the light, it accentuates that. And I'm like, oh shit, you know, look in the regular mirror in a house, it doesn't look like that. And then you look on camera like, oh my God, I look terrible. And that,
So
of course,
saying-
every idiot in chat, of course, has to talk about it all day. I'm like, can you guys shut up and just fucking let me play video games? I can't just concentrate on Dark Souls and Call of Duty.
You feel that the camera adds 10 pounds of man tits?
That's correct. That is absolutely correct. Yes.
Holy, buddy, what was the value of putting all the money into this setup if it's still going to look like you have man tits anyway, buddy?
I know. In truth, I actually used to look a lot worse. I mean, but then again, my camera was so blurry, no one could see shit either. My camera was like
That's
fucking fuzzy.
key. That's how I keep people thinking I'm sexy, is I just film in 360p only. And everybody goes, wow, that guy's so thin. That guy's so well put together. His skin's so nice. Meanwhile, it's a fat slob special. Unbeknownst to them, I pulled the wool over their eyes, Phil.
See, in all these
So-
years, people said, "Oh, you're lazy." It's like I wasn't lazy. I was smart. I was trying to play the game the right way. But now that I got all the upgraded shit, now everything comes out. It's like, oh fuck.
All right, will you take your shirt off to prove once and for all that you don't have man tits?
Actually, I already have. Like, people don't realize it, but there's been a couple of videos back in the day where like I used the Axe body detailer, and then I was using like was it Selsun Blue? And I had, that's happened already, like in the past, but I guess it's really old now, so a lot of people
What
don't
if
remember it.
if we get $1,000 of support today? Will you take your shirt off, Phil? For
I don't know,
all
but
the
well, hold on.
ladies at
Well,
home
Hold on, because we already
that
have.
wanna see sexy. Okay, tell them about the $1,000 goal today.
Right, we already have a stretch
No.
goal. So our tier 1 goal is the 500, which is for us to watch AEW and to add that to our show for a week and see how it works. But if we have a stretch goal today of 1,000, and if we hit 1,000, we're going to try to do something really cool. All right, it's
And
something that
autistic.
Well, it's something that I used to do back in the day. If you remember, guys, anyone who used to watch my content now over the last 10 plus years, I used to do simulation matches in the WWE video games, and we haven't done it in a very long time. But we were talking about what are some ideas of things that we could do for the show, and we brainstormed, hey, maybe we could do like a live sim match, and we could commentate over it as if it's really a pay-per-view going on, right?
Yes, it's the DSPWF, the Dark Side Phil Wrestling Federation. And not only will there be a Dark Side Phil Wrestling Federation with a Dark Side Phil Wrestling Federation title belt, the inaugural match there, the main event of the evening would be Dark Side Phil, the king of the DSP kingdom, the king of hate, the living legend DSP versus the top detractor, the evil, nefarious, disgusting, reviled, and defiled abomination of a human being, Duty Streams.
Duty!
It would be Dark Side Phil versus DSP one-on-one in the ring. And this will be for all the marbles, not only for the Dark Side Phil World Heavyweight Wrestling Federation belt, but it'll decide if Phil was right all these years, if Phil did nothing wrong, Phil was a king, Phil is a small businessman persecuted, or if the detractors were right all along, that Phil's a scammer, Phil's a liar, Phil's a loser, Phil's gay, he's, scamming the disabled. This will be for all the marbles. Dark Side Phil versus DSP, totally fair simulation match.
That's right, not rigged at
It
all.
will be up to WWE and the computers to decide. But either Phil will win and Phil will be 1-0 against the detractors, or the detractors will win, and they'll be 1-0 against Phil. And Phil, I don't know how you'll live with that, to be honest. Having to admit, finally, that the detractors won, that you scammed or it could be Phil's moment of ultimate triumph, defeating Duty in the ring and leaving the detractors humiliated, leaving them humbled without a leg to stand on. It doesn't matter how many documentaries you put out against Phil. It doesn't matter how many animated drawings you do of Phil as Hitler or a potato or whatever. It doesn't matter how many 12-hour documentaries you put out about Phil faking his back pain. All that matters is who wins the DSPWF World Championship. Will it be Phil or will it be Duty? It's the most autistic, retarded thing that we've ever come up with. It's going to be huge. So we got to get those donos going for the match next week there.
Let's go. We got a Big Kev did a $2 super chat and saying, what do you guys? He says, what do you think about live streaming the Royal Rumble?
Well, not with donos like that. $2?
In reality, we wouldn't be able to live stream the Royal Rumble because WWE is so copyright crazy. They're just assholes about it.
But we would have to blind react to it. So
exactly.
We would have to be watching the stream over in another window or whatever, and then be doing the show blind react. I don't know if I like that as much as reviewing it the next day. I feel like it's probably better, but I don't know if people really want to see something like that and they're willing to.
We're open to suggestions.
Support it.
Exactly. And also it's a matter of like I don't even know what it is. So
suggestions from the rich. We're only open to suggestions from people with money. If you're broke, if you have nothing to contribute, I don't even hear what you're saying. It's like in the Peanuts cartoon when the parents are talking. That's what I see when I see people without crowns next to their name in chat. I don't even hear it. That's what I hear when I see people with no gifted subs in the kick chat.
Speaking of which,
subs right now.
5 subs from Rare Tricks right now over on Kick. Thank you, Rare Tricks.
Let's go.
He's up to 15 today.
Get some subs.
All right. Oops. So we're getting there. So now we are up to 169 and climbing. So we are got some momentum.
Go. Oh, we're almost halfway there. Whoa, Phil's on a prayer. Give us this day our daily bag. Whoa, let's get some money. Come on. Let's shake the tin cup together, everyone. Let's get some money. Let's go.
Little PP Energy did a $5 super chat and says, gynecomastia is a natural occurrence for men of your age, Phil. Don't be ashamed.
There's nothing to be ashamed of, Phil. You are Knuff. You are Knuff, Phil. Can you say it? Can you say that you're Knuff, Phil?
I never saw the Barbie movie, so I know of the meme. I didn't hear the song, though. It's a whole fucking production.
Just say it. Just say it, Phil. Say you're Knuff. You're secure with yourself.
Of course, I'm secure with myself. I don't care. I never cared about how I looked on stream. Like never, but people always made fun of me and shit. I'm like, do you not get it that I don't give a shit? Like, why would I? I'm a dude playing fucking video games on the internet. I'm not a model. I'm not trying to fucking compete with people looks wise. I'm happily married. I'm not trying to fucking, seduce people on the internet. We're getting all fucking hungry and shit and tossing money.
You're saying you're Knuff, Phil.
I guess I'm Knuff. Yes.
Yeah, let's go. By the way, Scuba Steve.
10
for
10 subs. Thank you,
Let's
Scuba Steve.
Go.
All right.
Let's go. Huge support. Let's get some fat stacking up for Lord Phil here. Because right now, I'm not even sure if you guys deserve a show. These podunk fucking animals on kick.com. What's going on, guys? if you want there to be a kick stream at all, you better pony up large, or I don't think we're gonna run this jobber town again. These people, let me tell you, Phil, I'm pretty sure they kiss their sisters, Phil.
Wow.
That's what I've heard. They need to take a shower there.
Yeah. Stop pumping your fleshlight for 5 minutes and Dono. Come on, what are you doing, man?
Dono, put down the fucking lube, pick up your credit card, enter in the information, add an additional 0 based on what you thought you could afford, and just make it happen. Like, what's going on, folks? We should already be at the goal. But a lot of these people, they're ungrateful, Phil. They're unwilling to support what they really love. But we know that you, the true wrestling fans at home, will always support what you love financially. We know you're the best fans that we could possibly ever have. And so we really appreciate your money. Totally. All right, let's get into the Raw review. Somebody say, please stop shouting. If you're hoping for me to stop shouting, you're fucked. I know if you watch Phil content, usually it's chill, it's laid back, it's relaxing.
That's right.
It's
They're used to the soothing sounds of Darkside Phil.
They're used to the sexy ASMR voice of Phil, the velvety tones of Phil, the added snort ASMR action. Oh, I ought to start snorting just a power move on these fucking marks, Phil. I'm going to start snorting on my show. By the way, most tasteless for $5 says more donos, bitch.
Thank you.
More donos, bitch. Somebody asked, did Andy relapse? No, the casino will be back tonight.
Oh, cool.
But yes, the casino will be on 8:30 p.m. Eastern tonight. But let's get on with the show. Phil, this was the Raw after the Netflix debut.
That's right.
Second episode of Raw on Netflix. I was really thinking this was going to go way, way downhill. And what did you think, Phil?
Well,
What did you think?
This was a pivotal show for them because coming off of the debut, you realize you've got a lot of eyes on you, and can you live up to what you did last week? I would say in some ways they did, but you could definitely tell it was a downgrade visually, like immediately when they started hitting the arena and showing the shots. You're like, okay, so you know this is not going to be WrestleMania level every week. But and also, I will say, as we get into the topics here, a lot more talking, a lot more drama, a lot more of that. Last week was 4 really big matches and a little bit of stuff wedged between. This went back to more of like the typical Raw formula of a lot of plotline advancement. A lot of people who we didn't see last week, now they're getting their time to shine. And a lot of the people who were main eventing last week kind of went to the background this week. So, but it wasn't bad. Like, I was pleased. It didn't completely degrade or fall tons. But at the same time, definitely there was a visual downgrade. Immediately you could tell when the show started.
Yeah, there was a bit of a downgrade, although I felt like it wasn't as big of a downgrade as I was expecting. Obviously, they're not going to be in a multi-billion-dollar, state-of-the-art technological facility like the Intuit Dome every single week. This week, they were in San Jose. By the way, before we get into, did you look at the numbers at all, Phil, in terms of what the viewership was on Netflix? Did you see that?
No, I don't know how to do that. How do you see viewership on Netflix? I've actually was wondering about the on-demand number.
They put out a press release saying that the show got 4.9 million viewers on Netflix, but that's worldwide, but excluding certain markets, like excluding India. I think Italy was excluded. I think Great Britain was excluded. So there was a lot of markets that weren't counted, that they don't apparently have the technology in place to measure the viewership.
Okay.
But Raw in the United States alone on cable was doing about 1.5 million viewers. So they're saying the US number was about 2.6 million, I believe.
Good job.
So it's a big jump for them, but I don't know if that's what they were expecting to get, because this is on Netflix. It's in like every household in the United States and around the world. So I don't know if this number is good or if it's bad. And I think that the whole ratings thing, because that's what a lot of the wrestling podcasts are now, week to week to week. AEW did 600,000, then WWE did 2 million, AEW down 25,000 viewers. Now with both the shows on Netflix and HBO Max respectively, it kind of takes a lot of the wind out of the sails of like analyzing the ratings and the quarterly numbers, because I don't think from this point on we're going to have truly accurate numbers. Like, and not that the Nielsen boxes, I don't think were the super most accurate thing in the world.
And
either,
so outdated at this point anyway. You know, I always hear the Nielsen numbers. You're like, dude, technology was invented so long ago. Do you really think that's an accurate representation when everyone is watching back later on demand? It never made sense to begin with that they were still using that shit.
You know what I mean? And it's just like, how many houses, how many cable boxes actually had a Nielsen box to begin with?
Right.
You know, I never had one in Canada. I don't even know if they do that in Canada. I don't know if you've ever had one, Phil. Do you have to sign up for that, or what the process is?
I'm pretty sure it's a special thing, but I've never been involved in it or knew anything about it. So it's probably not like a mainstream thing.
I do want to make a point of this, and I think you probably would agree with me on this. I don't think our podcast, unlike the other podcasts, we're not going to be about crunching the numbers of each quarterly segment, and it went down 30,000 viewer, went up 100,000, this sort of shit. I know a lot of shows do that, you know, and they're industry experts and insiders, which basically means that they're marks that get to pretend like they're better because they listen to Meltzer or some bullshit like this. But I don't think our show is going to be about the ratings week to week to week, especially now that the ratings are kind of fucked up because of they're on the streaming service. But
right.
That's what I heard the numbers were for Raw. A lot of people are disputing those numbers, saying that they're fucking bullshit and this is the real number. And the AEW number was apparently really low. Like they only got 70,000 people on HBO Max to watch. And
oh, wow.
But I honestly, I don't think there's any way of knowing what the truth is about those numbers, nor are we really the ones to analyze it. But did just want to bring it up. Right off the bat, did you notice there's no more Fortnite logo in the middle of the ring, Phil?
No, yeah. I don't know if every week they're going to change the sponsors that are in the ring. Maybe that's their intention, is like you get a 1 week plug, like they're buying that spot. But they're right. There was no Fortnite. It was different stuff like cricket this week and shit like that.
Yeah, I saw. Well, it was pretty much the same sponsors as last week, I think. There was Hulk Hogan's Real American Beer was still there. I think we saw Snickers, we saw Cricket
Snickers,
Wireless.
Yes. Yeah.
But there was no advertisement in the middle of the ring. So what you'd think would be the most expensive for them to sell. Now, and so you'd think they'd want to sell that first and for the most. Maybe they just didn't have anybody willing to pay what they wanted to pay. Maybe they want to have the middle of the ring clear of advertisements and just have it in the corner because of the feedback they got last week.
Right.
But I thought that was interesting. They kept the drone shots. So they still had like the drones coming through the lobby of the arena, showing the crowd. I thought that was good. There was no pyro this week, though, to open, was there?
No pyro. And the drone shots, like, I'm kind of mixed on the drone shots. Like, at first, I think they look nice because it's just kind of epic. You know, you see them in all kinds of different entertainment mediums right now. But for me, the drone shot is kind of killing the mystique that you're in a giant arena. And what I mean by that is, if you think back to the old days of wrestling, they would purposely darken the lighting in the background, and you would never know the size of the arena that they were wrestling in. So you would just assume they were always in like a giant arena, and you would always feel like there was a giant crowd there. Now with these drone shots, they're literally right at the beginning of the show going through the whole arena and showing you the size of the arena. And I'll be honest, like, I was like, oh, it's much smaller than last week. And I'm wondering, like, if they didn't do that drone shot, maybe you wouldn't have even known that. You know what I mean? So I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, it was still slam full. I'm pretty sure they did sell it out, but it is, I
Yes.
believe, a smaller arena than the Intuit Dome, or at least it feels like it, because that's where the San Jose Sharks play. Let me see here. I'm just wondering what the difference in size would be. I think it was the S&P Center would have about 17,000 seats,
Yeah.
and the Intuit Dome
I think it's
has-
huge.
Well, actually, this is interesting. The Intuit Dome only has 300 more seats
Oh, really?
than the San Jose Sharks Arena. So it just really is that the way that Intuit Dome is designed looks so incredible, makes it look so massive and
Wow.
larger than life and spectacular, but they're actually about the same size building, and it looks like they were both sold out.
Yeah.
Maybe the S&P Arena wasn't sold out, but it looked pretty full to me. I didn't see did you see any empty seats? I don't remember.
I do believe the first thing they said on commentary was that they did sell out the arena for the night. I think I specifically remember that. So they were sold out. Yeah.
Okay, then they opened with a recap of the first Raw on Netflix. I felt like this was kind of unnecessary, and it was like it went on for like 4 minutes.
Yeah, I
I
recapped
was
everything,
sitting here
right?
watching this like recap of, I'm like, well, I watched it last week, and you'd think if somebody had never watched before, they would probably watch the first episode on Netflix. But kind of nitpicky to complain about. But I'm like sitting here 3-4 minutes. What the fuck? We're just doing a recap of Raw from the first episode. Okay, they said 13,000 in attendance, so it wasn't fully sold out, the setup for hockey then.
Okay.
Sometimes for these different sports and concerts, they'll set it up differently. And so if wrestling, if the Titantron or the screens, they might take out an area of a couple thousand seats.
Makes sense.
And then the way they set up the hard cam probably takes up a couple hundred seats. So it wasn't sold to full capacity then. So probably there were more people at the Intuit Dome. So Phil's initial intuition actually proved to be probably correct, that there were more people there last week than this week. Okay, starts off with CM Punk walking out. He comes out in a vehicle there. Honestly, it was probably the best star they could put out there, because I initially thought, oh man, the first week they have The Rock to open the show and Triple H to open the show. It's going to immediately feel like a step down on week 2.
Yeah,
So
right.
I think it was correct of them. Punk has the most star power, the most mystique, the most aura right now. The correct decision to open the show with CM Punk, right?
So I got a question. Do they not do the title, like one title is for Raw and one title is for SmackDown anymore? Are they all cross-promotion titles now? Because I thought the champion would be the first person to come out, and they didn't do that.
See, it's all fucked up now.
Oh, boy.
Because okay, so there was separate titles for Raw and SmackDown, right?
Okay.
But Roman actually unified the titles.
Oh, boy.
So that there was one title, the undisputed title. He lost that title to Cody at WrestleMania.
Okay.
But in between the time that he was undisputed champion, a few months later, I'm not exactly sure on the timeline, but they introduced another world title that was immediately like, well, but we just created an undisputed merged title.
Right.
And so now this is clearly the second banana title. Roman's had the title for over 1,000 days. And now just to put something on Raw as a token fucking bum title for jobbers to fight over, we're going to have this title. And, you know, Seth, I think, got that title last year or was feuding for that title. And he tried to tell Roman that it was actually a bigger deal than his undisputed title.
Right.
And Roman just fucking embarrassed him, cut this promo on him where he just made it clear that Seth was the second banana. If people remember the no pop promo where he says Seth's name and the crowd doesn't react and he goes, that's right, no pop. And, you know, Roman was really feeling himself during that promo, and Seth got totally fucking buried by that. And, you know, I never really took him too serious to begin with, but that really was like, whoa, buddy. So now Gunther has this title, and Cody is the undisputed champion. But this Gunther title, they call it the world title. But is it really? And there was a moment where Cody faced off with Gunther. And, you know, Cody tried to pull rank on him. This is a jobber belt. Basically tried to do the same burial Roman did to Seth.
Huh.
But Gunther was able to pull off, in his own way, his reasoning for why he felt like his world title meant more. You know, because he holds it and he views himself as the ring general and stuff like that. I actually really like the way Gunther handled that, and he managed to, with that one moment where he faced off with Cody, established for the first time some veneer of credibility to this title. And the fact that he holds it gives it some value, but it's still like, I don't take it very seriously. I don't consider it a world title, because the real title is with Cody, and it was the merged lineage of both of the titles from Raw and SmackDown. So yes, there is a champion on Raw that's Gunther, but it's like it's a very firm, like, B-level title. Does that make sense, Phil?
Okay, yes, so that's why Cody, because that shocked me. I was like, this is Raw, this is your flagship show, and Cody Rhodes wasn't on it. So I guess he's on SmackDown then, right? And he has the title over there?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I was so confused.
So,
Gunther was on the show, or Gunther, and he was good. I liked his segment, so we'll talk about that when we get to it. Okay, that makes a lot more sense.
SmackDown for the longest time was the A show. So for the last number of years, SmackDown has supplanted Raw as the premium show because it was on Fox, which was the bigger network, and they moved the bigger stars over there. But now it seems like Raw is the A show, but they still haven't really migrated Cody over.
Right.
So Cody was on SmackDown. I watched SmackDown this week, and I did think it was a big step down from the first Raw. This was a much better show than the SmackDown that I watched earlier in the week. So, you know, the camera follows Phil, or CM Punk, all through the gorilla position, which is kind of cool, through the backstage area as he comes out. Crowd was super into CM Punk. I love the entrance music for Punk. I always have. It always gets me excited to hear Cult of Personality.
Right.
It brings me back to, you know, my teenage years watching wrestling and being a punk mark. And it's just a really cool theme, especially compared to a lot of the songs these guys are getting today sound so generic.
Yeah.
And so lame.
I was just going to comment on that because, you know, Punk comes out to Cult of Personality, and he's cutting his promo, and then when Seth comes out, which we're going to talk about in a second, his song just sounds so bad compared to Cult of Personality.
So I wrote that down in my notes because everybody glazes Seth's song.
Oh, no, I hated it.
Worships his song because they can sing, whoa, whoa. But you know what? It's not actually over. It's not actually that people like that song. It's that it's something that they can sing and interact with.
Exactly
and
right.
So if you remember back in the day when Daniel Bryan was doing the yes chants, and they thought that what was over wasn't Bryan, it was doing the yes chant. And so they tried to have Big Show steal it from him and other wrestlers so that they could bury him. But it turned out people really did just love Daniel Bryan and really wanted him to be in the main event. This is the exact opposite of that. It's not Seth that's over. It's not even that the ring music is very cool. It's just that people are able to sing along to it.
Right.
And so I fucking hate it. And I think it's shitty, but I know that that's a hot take in the YWC because a lot of people need to glaze Seth Rollins, apparently, to feel good about themselves. But I fucking don't.
I'm an outsider to all this, and I heard it, and I was like, this is terrible. It's like the just generic, you know, guitar riff, and then it's like the Burn It Down theme he used to have, but it's only there for half a second, and all of a sudden they're going, whoa, whoa, what the fuck is this? It's like 3 different tracks they taped together, and it sounds awful to me. It's like, you know, in your ear, like, you just turn it shit off or play a fucking a better song.
You know,
His older themes were better.
Eric gets it in chat. He says it's just marks trying to get themselves over. Yeah, it's the audience trying to get themselves over, get involved in stuff, which is what we saw last week with the booing of Hulk Hogan, the crucifixion of Hulk Hogan. When Punk does the It's Clobbering Time, though, it was loud. Everybody reacted to that, yelled it along with him. The Punk promo starts off. He starts sucking off the people of San Jose. Very cheap pop. He's talking about how he supports the first responders to the fire. I fucking puked in my mouth. I'm like, oh my God, how fucking cheesy and lame and fucking, you know, it's just, it's like, yeah, we all know that we all support the victims of fire or whatever. I personally think that they're all rich liberal douchebags who deserve to fucking but that's just my personal take, and I don't really feel bad for them at all. They live in the modern day Sodom and Gomorrah.
Wait a minute. James Woods' house also burned down. Did you know that?
Suffer James Woods. Every name on them, like Paris Hilton's house, based. Fucking all of these fucking. I'm like, good. I'm glad. Fuck them. Fuck them. I know there's a lot of, you know, good families and people that, you know, were disadvantaged. But, you know, I always just hate it when people, I really support them, you know. Oh, really? Are you over there digging out people from the burned out buildings? Did you donate to the Red Cross even?
Right.
Well,
the biggest whiners are the ones that don't do anything. Yeah, exactly.
Thoughts and prayers are with you. Thoughts and prayers are with you, bro. Yeah, thoughts and prayers. I don't know, man. It's just they could have prevented that fire from happening had they done controlled burns, had they actually managed the water supply properly, had they done, you know, taken the proper actions that those environmental activists didn't want them to do, because God forbid we lose the smelt fish. God for fucking bid. Now thousands of people are without a fucking home because of the fucking smelt fish. And oh my God, if we burn those 1,000-year-old trees that are fucking dead on the ground, then what will happen? Ooh. So a bunch of tree-hugging fucking hippie bums in California reaped what they fucking sowed. They all supported those hippy-dippy. All right, Jay. Listen, let's move on. It's not supposed to be the political right-wing power hour fucking show where I blame the latte-sipping left for all the problems in the world.
You make a good point in regards to Punk saying it, because it felt totally like that quick. You know he says it because he's told to, right? Like, it feels like this is the piped-in corporate line. We have to say
Punk.
We're sorry about it. It's like corporate. Like, that's the opposite of what I would have expected Punk to do, but I mean, it's been a long time.
Yeah, well, now this is corporate Punk. So, I don't know. I feel like they have to slowly start turning him heel with this whole corporate Punk, and maybe make him more of an ass-kissing, like, to an authority figure. Like, you know, when Mick Foley was Mankind and he was sucking up to Vince and stuff like that. Maybe that's the future of this sort of character, because it's tough for me to buy into the CM Punk of today, because he's so radically changed.
Right, he's so different.
From what he used to be. And I want to buy into Phil. I want to buy into CM Punk. I want to get excited, but he's just so different. So I don't know. It's taking a while for him to find his legs, find his character. But that being said, he's still pretty good at what he does. In fact, he might be the very best they have in terms of his mic skills, because he starts teasing the feud with Cena right away.
Yes.
He's like, you can't see me. And, you know, he works into the promo. Then he directly references Cena, says, I can see you. He declares himself for the Royal Rumble. And so this is going to be an interesting Royal Rumble match, isn't it, Phil? Because I mean,
the thing is, I always like the Royal Rumble, because on the years when they don't, like, totally blow it and kind of let you know who's going to win, on a year when you don't know what's going to happen, it's such a fun event. You don't know who's going to be in it. Sometimes you get crazy spots, and at the end you see who's really big in the company, because like top Final Four. And I like those hype moments. And I guess this year is one of those years where you can't really tell where they're going with it. So I'm actually excited to be jumping back into pro wrestling at this point where we're going to have this epic pay-per-view in a couple weeks to see where they're going this year with all the plot lines. So yeah, I'm excited. This looks really good to me.
Because some years it really feels like a coronation. It really feels like, okay, it's this one guy that's going to win it. We can all see it a mile away. And, you know, recently, the Royal Rumble, every year I tune in, it's like, I don't know, like half of the people in the Rumble match, I swear, are from NXT, or I don't even know who they are. And I imagine that's going to be a problem this year as well, with a lot of jobbers in it. But what's cool this year is there's a lot of ways that it could go. Like Cena could win the Rumble to challenge for the 17th world title. Punk could win to challenge either Gunther or maybe Roman Reigns or Cody. Roman could win as well to challenge Cody for the third time. So I could see at least 3 different winners there. And then, you know, on the outs, I don't probably think the other guys in this promo, Drew and Seth, are going to win.
No, I don't think so. Yeah.
But, you know, I don't know. At least there's 3 viable contenders this year that I could see it being, and potentially more as more names get declared from the Rumble. Okay, then we had Seth comes out. Seth's in a sparkly suit coat. He's in a man bun and some goofy-ass sunglasses, looking as F-slur/cringe as ever.
Wow.
I have wrote down.
Wow.
I don't know what he's thinking with this shit. Does he think that that's cool? Is he trying to be on RuPaul's Drag Race? Like, is that the aesthetic he's going for? Or
Yeah. I guess he's just going for the ultra over the top, you know. He thinks it's fashionable, but obviously a lot of people don't. But I guess that's just the character, like going to the extreme. I don't know, how long has he been doing that? Well,
he's gay. It's gay, isn't it? That's what it is. This is some heterosexual, Hollywood, homosexual stuff from Seth Rollins. It needs to go back in the closet. The outfit needs to go back in the closet. He talks about how he's married to a man or the man, and he's the man's man. And it all sounds pretty homoerotic to me, brother. And I just don't know if there's room in the wrestling world for that. Maybe Exoticos and Lucha. You know those guys, Phil?
No, I
the
don't.
Exoticos? Oh, I thought that'd be right up your alley. So, the Exoticos in Lucha Libre are wrestlers whose gimmick is that they're flamboyantly gay.
Oh boy.
So
that's the whole gimmick, huh?
Yes, and they're usually like heels. They're usually the bad guys, and sometimes they're good guys nowadays. We have more progressive attitudes are emerging on such issues. So Seth comes out there. He takes off his sunglasses. He has a black eye, which I thought, you know, I was like, that's cool. That's hard. I like that. I guess because he got fucking hit in the head pretty hard by Punk at one point. There were like two moments in the match that were pretty stiff. When fucking Rollins gave Punk that GTS last week, he basically fucking kneed him in the head.
Yeah.
When you look back on the replay, and then Punk gave him a receipt later on, which I think was that black eye. Seth starts talking about how much he loses. He's lost main event matches. He's lost this match, lost that match. Thought it was kind of a weird flex on Seth's part. You know, not sure you want to mention how many times you keep fucking losing, but apparently this was the most devastating loss of all.
Yeah, right.
To lose to CM Punk. He hits Punk with a line, something to the effect of, "Well, I don't quit, unlike you," you know, which was good. And he was delivering this promo pretty seriously. A lot of the time, Seth Rollins, when he's cutting these promos, it gets really goofy and silly and over the top. I really appreciated Seth was cutting this promo grounded. He was serious. He came across as pissed. He came across as wanting his revenge. So I'll give Seth Rollins a lot of credit on that. I have written in my notes, Punk's beard is so gray, he needs to do something. You know, it's one thing for you, Phil, to age gracefully. You know, with
all
your
of us
beard.
Phils, we just don't like to dye our beards. We just leave them all gray.
No, Phil, should we get you the beard dye? I'll send you some Just for Men starter pack. No, but you're aging gracefully in a mature fashion. But he's still he's still supposed to be a wrestler, clinging to his youth and his vitality and his vigor. So where the fuck is the Just for Men? He's looking fucking 100 years old, Methuselah-esque in this bitch.
It's true. And, you know, again, and now, one of the notes that I made is that the quality of the visual, the camera is really clear now, like compared to when I was watching 5 years ago. And you can really see the detail on their faces now. And yeah, I would say Punk looks very old compared to, you know, how I remember him. And you're right. Like, these little things will now stand out way more with this higher production value. So yeah, it is shocking to see his with all the gray and that they didn't tell him to do anything about that.
Yeah, I mean, he's in his 40s now. Holy fuck, so old, so ancient.
Thanks a lot.
Okay.
Thanks.
Yeah, I know. It's throw you right under the bus. Fuck. Then Drew McIntyre comes out. What did you make of this Drew McIntyre promo?
See, I'm gonna be honest here. Like, Drew, I liked him when he came back and became the guy to beat Brock Lesnar. Like, that was kind of the thing. He came back, and first he was a villain, but then he's going to be the one to unseat Brock. No one can stop Brock, but he's going to be the one. He's the guy. And I feel like then becoming the champion during COVID kind of killed him, because now he already had his time in the sun. You know what I mean? He already had his reign. So now he's going to be this guy. He's kind of upper mid-card. Sometimes he's in the main event. But I don't take him seriously anymore, because I feel like they're never going to give him that rub again. I don't feel like he's going to get another giant main event run. So he comes out and he cuts this promo about, first of all, he's still obsessed with Roman Reigns, right? Like, that Roman's really the reason why I am where I am, and he ruined the sport. So can't you see that Roman is actually plotting to get the title back all along? This is his plan to fool all of you and all of this stuff. It's almost like a conspiracy theory kind of paranoia in this promo. But I don't buy it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't take him seriously as someone who's up there with Punk, because I don't think they're going to give him that chance. You know, if he's jobbing to Jey Uso, he's not going to be beating these top guys. So I get it. They need someone in here as like an interim villain until more major plot lines happen. So I know why they did it, but it wasn't that credible in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, they've tried their best to build him back up over the course of this year. He had a really good feud with CM Punk, but then again, he lost the feud with Punk in the Hell in a Cell. And, you know, it was really awkward at one point when CM Punk kept bringing up how he beat Drew and, like, how he left him begging on his knees, bleeding, and all this stuff. And there was one point, it seemed to me like Punk kind of went into business for himself to bury Drew, because Drew had this look on his face where he was kind of like a deer in headlights for a good, 3 to 5 seconds. I don't know if anybody else noticed this or wondered, what was going on there. But to me, it felt like Drew was either shoot pissed at what Punk said, or he just had, a brain fart and lost his train of thought, or he didn't know how to respond to it. And then he didn't address what Punk said, and then he pivoted back to Seth, which I found was interesting. And it was just like another moment where Drew got big dogged, where he didn't really get his shine. And I don't know if it was really necessary for Punk to keep bringing up, twice, I think it was, or maybe even 3 times, how he beat Drew and also how he beat Seth. And then it's like, okay, well, he already beat these guys, so why is he even fucking talking to them? Right. Feels like he have definitively won this promo exchange, and it feels like he's moving on to other stuff, and this is just kind of like a placeholder until after the Rumble. You know what I mean?
I agree, and that's why I was confused. That's why I asked you right at the top of the show, who's the champion? Because I felt Punk would be moving on to whoever the champion is, but yet this promo seems to be holding him back with these other guys who he's already surpassed. So, but again, I get it. This is going to be a couple of weeks of filler to build up to the Rumble, is what this is probably going to be.
Yeah,
so,
and it's, the thing is, like with Drew bringing up Roman Reigns and stuff, it does make him out to be like a smart character, and like he's making good points. It's kind of funny though. They have like Drew and they have Kevin Owens always make all of these really good points about how Cody and Seth are really acting out of character, like they're acting almost like heels, especially like Cody, like on SmackDown. And I don't know if they're building towards a Cody heel turn or what, but Cody like walked out on his tag team partner to fight Kevin Owens to the back of the locker room while his partner got his ass fucking beaten by the Tongans. It's like, did Cody do that? Does he just not care about his partner? Or, you know, is it in the heat of the moment? I'm not sure what they're building towards with that. But it seems to me like Drew and Kevin make a lot of good points that, well, maybe we should focus on Roman and so that he doesn't build back up the bloodline, because you weren't around for it. But basically every single month, Roman would win by having his entire family just cheat to have him win, like every fucking month. So it's like, if they allow that to reform, it's like another 4 years of Roman, at least in kayfabe or whatever. You'd be like, yeah, we should all just beat this fucking guy senseless, break his legs, and like end his career. You know what I mean? So, you know, I thought all three of the promos were decent. I think Punk won the segment. I think probably Drew did second best, Seth did third best. But they were both distantly behind Punk, I think, in terms of the segment. Okay, then we had Chad Gable versus Pentagon, Phil. So Chad Gable comes in, and he's like Wish.com Kurt Angle. Rip off Kurt Angle tights. Rip off Kurt Angle character, even to the point where they're having him do the silly comedic stuff they would have Kurt do.
And the troll crowd still chants "You suck" as if he was Kurt Angle coming out.
Suck, but they don't give him the Kurt Angle theme. They give him some fucking shitty, bad remix. It's not even a good remix of it. Like, just give him the Kurt Angle theme then. Just give him the fucking Kurt Angle theme, man. I don't get it. You know, and I haven't seen a whole lot of Chad Gable since he did this Alpha Academy. I will say, I do like Chad Gable as a wrestler. I really like the technical chain wrestling style. That's probably my favorite style of wrestling. And so I do like that. But it just feels to me with this guy, they've made him, and I think at one point he was supposed to be Kurt Angle's son. Or was that another guy similar to this? Do you remember?
That was Orlando Jordan, right? The other half of American Alpha, I believe.
No, not Orlando Jordan. Orlando Jordan.
No, not Orlando Jordan. What was his name? Oh God, the other half of the tag team.
Yeah,
who got hurt? He got really badly hurt. I can't remember his name right now. Yeah. So you're right, but no. Here's the thing. I'm happy that they're giving Chad Gable something to do, and here's why. When I was watching, 5 years ago, he
was Shorty G.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. He was coming in with American Alpha, and then his tag team partner got hurt, and then they had to break up, and then he's Shorty G, and he's getting jobbed out to freaking Baron Corbin like 25 times. I'm like, this guy's a good wrestler. Give him something to do. You know what I mean? And finally now, years later, even though it's a mid-card stable, at least he has a stable. He's got it's stupid, but at least he's got a plot line. He's got a character that's defined. He's got something to do, and they're letting him wrestle in good matches against guys who are debuting like Penta. Mm-hmm. So at least he's in a much better position now than he was back when I was watching it. So I'm happy for that.
Yeah, he's being used way, way better now, but he's been there a long time now. It's been, he's probably been there almost 10 years now, 7, 8 years probably. Yeah. Wow. Okay, we have Penta comes out. Thoughts on the entrance, Phil? What did you think?
Pretty interesting. Like, again, we had talked about who he was, and I had never seen Penta before. Interestingly enough, it seems like he's a character, right? Like he's not just a standard luchador, but he has like a character behind. I don't know what the character's supposed to be. I don't know if it's supposed to be like Day of the Dead or if he's supposed to actually be like a ghoul. I don't know, but I like his appearance. I like his outfit. His style in the ring, by the way, really impressive. Like he seems a little like more like taller almost than a standard luchador. Like he has more longer limbs, so he allows him to pull off a few other things than maybe other luchadors maybe couldn't do. Again, I don't watch a lot of luchadors. You know me, I'm talking about like Rey Mysterio and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So I liked him in the ring, and the entrance was good. And I overall I thought it was a great match, and a lot of technical stuff in the match, which I appreciated. Instead of just a ton of spots, there was a lot of technical back and forth between the two.
Yeah, okay, so I'll walk you through my thoughts here. I have in my notes. So Cole says it was the worst kept secret in the business. And I wasn't sure about this. Like, does he need to be that self-conscious about it, or that self-aware that people know that Penta is coming out? Like, it feels like they have to do these winks and nods to the audience because they know that everybody's a Smart fan.
Right.
But to me, it comes off kind of like they're insecure about it, or like they feel like it's a shortcoming. They weren't able to conceal it better or something like that. So I wasn't too big on that. I felt like he should have sold it as, whoa, it's the free agent, instead of the worst kept secret in the business.
You already knew he was coming. Here he is. Wow. Well, it doesn't feel so special anymore.
I go, well, the entrance is cool with the flames. I think Penta looks really badass, especially with this new production.
Give me 1 second. My stupid curtain's open because of wind, and it's right. My sun's right in my eye.
All right.
I'm
going to take that opportunity, that break, to say, guys, look, we are only halfway to the goal. Guys, we got to hit it for AEW next week. If there's any time to support and show your love for this idea that me and Phil do a weekly show together, if you want it to continue and there be more episodes, we got to hit this goal today. We got to do AEW next week.
I would be interested in catching up with AEW. I've never seen it before. You know, it'd be an interesting endeavor.
Let's get there, guys. Let's knock out another big chunk of it. Let's get some kick subs going, or let's get some fucking PayPal tips. Come on.
We've got a few.
If you want it to continue, you got to support, or else it's over. And me and Phil will do something else with our lives. We'll go apply at Best Buy or something.
That's right. We did have a couple. We had RTU's Brothers After Work Burrito, who did a $5 super. Yeah, I know. We did a $5 super chat. And he says, I was actually at Raw in person. It was sold out. The line to get in was like a mile long. Like people had to wait a long ass time to get into the arena. So it apparently was pretty packed. And let's see here. A couple of small tips. There was a $1.50.
$1.50? We ought not even to read $1.50 tips.
We don't have to.
That's a fucking insult to King Phil's dignity. You're basically making him pick up spare change off the fucking parking lot ground, for fuck's sake. What's next? Are we going to go around in fucking smokers sections stealing cigarette butts to fucking smoke? Like, what sort of poverty hour is it over here?
All right, so I'll just say thank you, Beaver Bother, and thank you to Dark Side Child Returns. They each did about $1 tip.
Beaver Bother's a bum, buddy. Beaver Bother's like, oh, Phil, I'll give you $20 if you do this challenge. Oh, Phil, if you beat this boss, I'll give you. And then it's $2, $1.50. Just big time fucking waste of your time and your abilities as a pro gamer. Fuck Beaver Bother, or whatever the fuck his bum jabroni name is. He needs to send a 10 spot right now, because I'm telling you there, fucking Beaver Bother, buddy, you're on thin ice, pal. And, you know, the generous, the magnanimous, the magnificent Phil might let you skate by with bullshit behavior like that.
Well, here's the truth is that Beaver Bother is already on my shit list. As I'm playing Dark Souls recently, he says he's going to tip when I beat a boss, and then he tips me 1/10 of what he said he was going to tip. It's completely unacceptable behavior. All right,
Isn't it, though? Like, imagine you went into your job, the boss says he's going to pay $25 an hour, and then suddenly you get paid for $2.50 an hour. You would fucking freak out too, people. Come on. Have some fucking sympathy. Imagine if this was a sandwich shop. And you came in. Phil, tell him. Imagine if it was a sandwich
Imagine
shop.
if it's a sandwich shop and you order a delicious foot-long Italian BMT and they make the whole sandwich and they take a knife and they cut off 1/10 of the sandwich and they hand that to you instead of the foot-long. How would you feel? You would be pissed. So get on it, get out your wallets, undo the Velcro, take out the cards, and start charging right now. We got to get this going for next week.
Open your Velcro wallet and pay. Or else, I just don't know, folks. I don't know what's going to happen, but it's not going to be good. So I said here in my notes, so Cole puts over Penta as the next best luchador to Rey Mysterio, which is like the expectations they're putting on Penta here are pretty fucking sky high when he goes, this guy, Rey Mysterio, the greatest luchador ever. Pentagon is like a close second to that.
I don't know. So they do this every time, though. Like, it's Sin Cara. He's the next Rey Mysterio. Or it's, every time there's another luchador, they always go back to Rey Mysterio references. And then they somehow botch the person within like 2 years anyway. They
want the next Rey Mysterio, but it turns out like Rey Mysterio was a once-in-a-lifetime talent that certainly once-in-a-generation talent that has yet to be replicated to a worldwide audience. Rey Mysterio was an incredible wrestler, very charismatic with what he was able to do. So many great matches, so many great moments from him, and they keep trying to recreate that, but nobody's him. Nobody has been ready for that role. And by the way, we've got some Japanese letters for 10 pounds.
10 euros. That's euros. 10 euros.
Ooh, 10 euros. Not like pounds.
That's like $12 instead of 10, actually. So,
he says,
go ahead.
The show. PPP being pre-dementia Vince McMahon ballyhoo apologist, and Phil pretending he hasn't watched since 2020. Great characters, guys. Keep it up. Kevin Nash, 1992 quote. Are you trying to insinuate that Phil lied? Once again, much like Hulk Hogan, Darkside Phil has never told a lie.
Absolutely not.
You got to understand that even if Phil or Hulk Hogan were to directly contradict statements they've made in the past, it works similar to the Islamic concept of abrogation, where it has always been the divine truth of either Phil or Hogan, and the newest statement wipes out the oldest statement.
There you go.
And so it's all the word of God, it's all the word of Phil, it's all the word of Hogan. It's just that the most current words from the mouth of Phil or Hogan are the ultimate truth and always will be, even if they are lies. In the words of Phil, even if it is a lie, it is an answer. And that's true. Hallelujah! Let us donate for the Phil Fund, everybody.
That's a good one.
Let's get some Hogans.
We have received a $15 tip. It is our biggest tip of the day. Let's see who this is from. We've got a $15 tip from an anonymous tipper who just says, love the show. Well, thank you very much. Appreciate that. Awesome.
Well, we got a comment from Discord message to Craig Real. Did we finally get to wrestling in this wrestling show, or just more begging on this begging show? You got to understand, it's not about the wrestling. It's about the money, brother. It's about the begging. It's about the love of the
Hold
game.
on a second.
It's about the love of the scam.
This is a show about commentary on WWE. WWE. And you're going to give us shit for caring about money when you watch WWE? Are you out of your fucking mind?
Are you retarded? You watch wrestling. What's the saying? A fool and their money are easily separated. P.T. Barnum said there's a sucker born every minute, and thank God for that, or we would have been out of business years ago. Thank you, P.T. Barnum. Thank you, Zig Ziglar. Thank you, the patron the patron saints of grifting there. I lost my flow there. I was so enraptured at the thought of all the money we're making, how we're going to spend it, what fast food items I'm going to buy, what WWE Champions cards you're going to pull. So, guys,
Of course.
let's get to this $500 goal right now. Like, one of you right now could just smash it with a 50 sub bomb over on Kick or a $300 tip via PayPal. Come on. Let's step up. Let's smash this goal. Otherwise, you don't want to see Phil if we miss the goal, because then the rest of the day, you think the begging is bad now? You think being harassed for money every few seconds is bad now? Well, this guy, he'll show you the rest of the day. So let's get it out of the way now. Let's smash these goals. Otherwise, that fucking tin cup full of change is going to be mighty loud. And he'll announce it from the mountaintops loud and proud. Change! You got change! You got money for me! I can't be eating lunch meat sandwiches, damn it.
That's right. Listen, I will have to play exclusively JRPGs on my channel from now on if people do not support the show. I'm sorry.
So step up! Step up, or else Phil is doing another Baldur's Gate 3 playthrough.
Oh, no. Oh,
Phil's gonna have to play it again.
Like a Dragon and Final Fantasy VII Rebirth back-to-back endlessly from now on.
Oh, man. Fuck. Can you ask Ashton his opinion on the AEW tag team Godwinson and Persip? They're jabronis, brother. Fucking jabronis that were buried on the pre-show. Fucking dark match loser jabronis there. Not even Brooklyn fucking brawler tier. Okay. So I say here, Penta has a lot of charisma under this new presentation. The production's making him look great. The crowd is into everything he does.
Yes.
They were super loud for him.
Great crowd. Great crowd in this show.
Yes. And it was San Jose, which is a more of a Hispanic market. A lot of the people there would know Spanish. So it makes sense to debut him in front of this crowd. So Gable uses the technical wrestling to take control, but you have this clash of styles where Gable has the traditional American technical wrestling, and then Penta's using his high-flying luchas. So it's a fun clash of styles. It's like a traditional, high flyer versus grappler type matchup, which is fun. At one point, Penta botches a leg drop. Did you see this?
I did. It looked like he slipped on the ropes when he was going for it.
So bad. Even I caught this botch, and I'm usually blind to the botches. I'm usually not paying that much attention to where if they slightly fuck up, I usually never notice. But this one I did notice. But that being said, the AEW fans are going fucking crazy about this shit. Oh, see, he botched. He botched.
Wow.
Oh, he botched. You see, guys, you guys got damaged goods. WWE loses. You have no place to talk. AEW fans, shut the fuck up about Penta botching. First of all, nearly every match this motherfucker had in AEW, he was botching. He was botching way more than that on a nightly basis in AEW all the fucking time, fucking getting hurt, getting people fucking hurt, horrible fucking shit all the fucking time. And you guys on a nightly basis see way more dangerous and way more fucked up spots in AEW than you'd ever see in this match. And this was also, Penta has been off for a while. It's his first time under the bright lights of WWE, a lot of pressure on him. So I'll forgive the botch. It wasn't good. It knocked down, my opinion of the match. But the AEW marks have no room to complain, no room to fucking cry or point fingers at WWE, because that's all they're about. That's all they're about. So I wrote down, the match is much slower and safer than an AEW match. Penta is actually selling at points.
Yes, the leg. The leg was the story of the match. Right.
Gable kept working the leg. The match made sense. There was actually psychology to the match, which, AEW fans like, whoa, never seen such a thing before in all my fucking life. I did write, like, Gable is whooping Penta's ass. Like, he's beating the fuck out of him, like, for a lot of this match. And I wrote, Penta's giving up a lot for his debut match. to a lower mid-card guy at best. Like, he's getting fucking beat up. And I thought that this match would be short. I thought it would be basically Penta just beats the fuck out of him, breaks his arm, and, you know, dominantly wins. But they went back and forth, lots of parts where Gable was in control. Penta a little sloppy at some point. I think his head scissors was a little bit off. A couple spots sloppy. Then Penta hit the Canadian Destroyer.
No. That's the Mexican Destroyer. What are you talking about? It's not the Canadian Destroyer.
Oh, no, Phil. You're felting Canada now? Phil, I have enough troubles in this fucking country without you coming along and taking one of the only wrestling moves we fucking have. He hit the Canadian/Mexican Destroyer. Notice that the move was sold as massively devastating. I've seen in AEW, Penta and I think Orange Cassidy did 8 Canadian Destroyers in a row.
8 Canadian Destroyers? Wow.
And
someone has a neck of steel.
And the other guy would do the Canadian Destroyer to the other guy. They would do Canadian Destroyers like they were doing super kicks or DDTs, like fucking brutal. You know, I think this probably should have ended the match just to restore the dignity of the Canadian Destroyer, but whatever, the move has been overused, fucking ground into powder. There were "this is awesome" chants for one Canadian Destroyer.
Right,
Meanwhile, AEW, they'll do fucking 10 of them in a row and the crowd's fucking dead.
Well,
So notice less is more.
exactly.
Right?
Restore the actual value of something by don't give it out every 5 seconds, you know, and it makes it more of a meaning. Yeah.
Then Gable got him in the ankle lock. Now, I will say the one thing about this match is at no point did I ever believe Chad Gable was going to win.
Right.
But
correct.
that is like, you know, the downside to the debut match. Like, they can't lose their debut.
Exactly.
Or else it's just totally fucked. Then Penta reversed, got into the arm breaker. He breaks Gable's arm. Then he hits the Penta driver, 1, 2, 3. Pentagon wins. I said it was really fun match. Probably my favorite since we started watching Raw. Penta probably should have dominated more and it be a squash match, but he got to showcase his skills in a fun match.
Right.
You know, ultimately he was way better than his AEW self, but unless WWE is going to make a real big point of pushing him and really putting a rocket to him and shoving him down people's throats, I think he's probably going to fall to the wayside.
Yeah.
I think that he's not probably going to ever be a main event talent. We've seen, as we brought up several times before, we've seen Sin Cara, Grand Metalik, a lot of these luchadors, I don't even remember their names, that came in the mid to late 10s, stuff like that. There seems to be a hard ceiling for those guys that only really Rey Mysterio has been able to crack. And even then, Rey was never, you know, the guy. When he got his world title, it was still secondary to Cena and Orton and Triple H, and then those guys, right? I don't know. It seems to me, so he cut this promo, and it's like the guy can't really speak English.
Yeah,
And
it was
so-
a heartfelt promo for what he was saying. I guess if you translated the Spanish, it was really nice. He was like, thank you to everyone, all my Mexican fans who have stayed with me all this time and believed in me, and now here I am. You know, it's heartfelt, but you're right. He's like switching languages, and it's very jarring for those who aren't understanding what he's saying.
Like, he's speaking a lot of Spanish, and it was high energy. Like, he was delivering it, I think, really well. And, you know, if it was a Spanish company and a Spanish promotion, I'm sure he'd be doing great. But, you know, in San Jose, it went over really well because a lot of Hispanics in San Jose, understood him. But is that going to translate week to week? Are they going to be able to get him in storylines and feuds? I honestly would like to see them rehash a lot of the stuff from Lucha Underground. Maybe if they brought in Vampiro, but I don't think that'll ever happen. I think this guy's ceiling is probably the tag team division with his brother when he comes in. Maybe he'll be an Intercontinental Champion. but I think that's about as far as he's going to go. I think that he will sell a lot of merchandise.
Right.
I think lots of people will buy the mask because the mask is cool. And I think that he'll probably sell T-shirts, and he, if he gets presented properly, he'll be popular. But I don't think he's like the game changer or the next guy. Especially he's getting up there in age now, especially wear and tear on his body. So
I guess with WWE, it's a little weird now because now Vince is not in charge anymore. So if Vince was still in charge, I'd be like, this guy has absolutely no hope, right?
No
He's going to
chance,
come in.
yeah.
He's just going to be the mid-card jobber. And like you said, maybe he'll win an IC title if they had a cruiserweight title, something like that. But maybe there is a chance. Maybe they're actually going to try. I don't know. But for me, it's hard for me to get invested because every time I get invested in a luchador, they end up having him getting squashed to someone like Braun Strowman, throwing him in a dumpster, and then you forget about him for like 6 months. So, I don't know. I guess we'll have to see.
We'll have to see how it turns out. But I don't know. I feel like they might try and make it a point of emphasis like they did with Cody, just because he's coming from AEW and they want to show we treat you guys fairly when you come from AEW. It's not a death sentence to come here. And so if they do that with the guys that they do take from AEW, I feel like they should really only take a few guys back from AEW, only the very best guys. Like, I think they should probably, if they ever get a chance, get MJF. And then I don't even know who else I would take from over there. But they should be very sparing with it. And when they do, treat them really good, push them really well. And then they'll always be able to get their pick of the litter from the AEW guys. And it'll kind of develop into another feeder system for them.
It's a good point.
I give the match, what did I give it? 3 3/4 stars. I would have given it 4 stars except for the botches and stuff like that. I thought it was a really fun match. About as good of a debut as you could have hoped for him. Then we had the new Judgment Day were shown backstage. Did you see this, Phil?
Yeah, and it's confusing to me because obviously the Judgment Day was like just starting and stuff back when I was following it. And so I guess it's hard to keep track of what the hell's going on, but I guess Finn is the leader of Judgment Day now, and you have some of the people are still there, and then a lot of people have shuffled around. And I guess this is the big grudge match tonight, that it's going to be Finn versus Priest in this street fight, which is like the culmination of the plot line where Priest went off and did his own thing. I guess he was champion at one point, and then they turned on him, right?
Yeah. And so you see in this segment, which they do, like Liv is upset with Dominic because on the show last week, he wanted to get back with Rhea, and so she's now bossing him around, telling him to bring in her bags and get the valet ready. And, it's a good comedic segment. There's a lot that they're able to do with Dom and Liv and their interactions together in the new Judgment Day. It was a decent little funny segment in the backstage. Then I wrote, Sheamus is still employed. LOL. Sheamus, it feels like, has wrestled every single person in WWE about 50 times. I know you haven't been watching for apparently 5 years or whatever, but it feels like Sheamus has wrestled everybody and so many times. And Ludwig Kaiser, he's wrestled this guy, I swear, at least 30 fucking times, it feels like. But I love Sheamus, and I think that Sheamus has really developed into a really good worker. Pretty much every match of his these days that I see, I feel like is pretty good. I feel like it's like really physical and stiff, especially for WWE. And I it's just interesting that he's lasted so long, because I remember when he first debuted and he looked like a bottle of mayonnaise with a ketchup haircut. And, it seemed like he only got the push because he was Triple H's workout buddy.
I was actually just going to say that he's like a holdout from this previous era, buddies with Triple H, buddies with John Laurinaitis, and so he always got this extra push in his early career, but I do feel over the last 10 plus years, he's evolved into a really good wrestler that seems to be like kind of one of those old faithful guys. Like he's never going to really get that giant push again, but they go back to him every once in a while when they need someone in there for some kind of an interesting plot line.
He's like mid-card for life, basically, but he's one of these guys that they can fit in anywhere on the card.
Right.
Like he could be in the tag team division tomorrow and do great. IC title picture, do great. He could be a challenger for the world title, probably not win.
Right.
But if they needed a transitional champion for a couple months, if there was an injury or something, he could step up and do that as well. You know, he could also do a comedy act. He could be a job guy. He can do anything. And he can get it over. I remember when he was in that tag team with Cesaro, there were a lot of good matches there.
Yeah, that was great. The Bar. Yeah, the Bar was a great team.
I thought they were a great team. Some of his IC and US title feuds have been really good over the years. His matches with like Gunther, his matches with Drew McIntyre. I really, really like Sheamus, so I was happy to see him come out. Ludwig Kaiser here is basically just fodder for Sheamus.
Right.
Like at no point did I really think Ludwig Kaiser would win. But I really do like Ludwig Kaiser also in his role as like a sidekick to Gunther. You know, he's one of these guys like goons for him, stooge for him, but he's a good worker. And I've seen him work live, and a lot of the crowd work that Ludwig Kaiser does is really underrated. He really gets a lot of heel heat, and he engages with the crowds at the live events really well. I actually think he's really underrated. So I wrote down before this starts, could be a low-key banger. Match starts off, Sheamus is dominating. Guys are both working stiff. Sheamus has all these welts and marks on his chest.
Always does. Always does.
He
Every
always
match.
does, and it looks really good because it makes it look real. And you know that shit's gotta hurt.
Yeah.
So immediately when you start seeing that, I start getting into the match. The match starts to feel credible. But Sheamus hits the white noise. Kaiser kicks out. I thought that could have been it, that white noise from like the top rope.
Right. I thought it was actually.
Probably should have been the finish, but that's all right. Then Sheamus hit this awesome flying knee for a 2 count. It looked really good, this flying knee that he did, or this knee raise. It looked really stiff. I honestly thought that could have been a finisher because it felt like the brogue kick. It felt really impactful. But again, that's a 2 count. Then there's back and forth for a bit. Kaiser gets the advantage, but Sheamus ends up coming back, hits a brogue kick for the win. What did you think overall on this match, Phil?
Overall, solid match. Again, to see Sheamus be better now, you know, than I remember him. I mean, then again, he's been through so many different plot lines and different kinds of, you know, teams and everything. I had not really seen Ludwig Kaiser that much. I'd seen him in like NXT ages ago. So to see him have a major match like this against Sheamus and hang and look good, I enjoyed it. It's funny because you say, you know, this match has happened a bunch. I've never seen this match before. So for me, it was kind of a first time, you know, meeting, and I enjoyed it. I did like it. But again, much like some of these matches, it didn't really seem like there was much of a plot to it. Like it was just kind of throwing these guys at each other for some reason. But it was fine. You know, as for a mid-card match in the middle of the show, I thought that it did its job and both guys performed well.
Yeah, I gave it 3 stars. You know, it was nothing special. It was nothing next level, but it was a nice, solid match, well executed, fun, nice to see Sheamus. Then they had the teaser for Braun Breaker versus Sheamus.
Right.
They're going to compete for the Intercontinental Championship at Saturday night's main event. Again, this is another spot where it's going to be a good competitive match. Sheamus is credible, but he's not going to beat Braun Breaker realistically.
Right.
In that spot, Braun's going to go over, but that'll be a really good match. And I think they've wrestled before, but
Braun is the son of Scott Steiner? No. Is he the son of Scott Steiner?
He is the son of Scott Steiner, yeah.
Okay. He kind of looks like him, too. He really does.
He does, yeah, he does. And I think he can really be something. I think he's got that look. He's got that physique. He seems to have an intensity about him. from what I've seen of his in-ring work and stuff, it's pretty good. He needs some more refinement. He needs some more polishing to get to that next level. Now, Eric Jimenez in chat is saying the story is to give Sheamus his final belt, and that's the IC belt. Has he never really had the IC title? I guess he's had the US title, but never the IC title.
Really?
I swear he's challenged for it like 1,000 times. Yeah, AJ Screw You Cesaro was wasted, and he's getting wasted over in AEW as well. Like, I really thought that guy was such a great in-ring worker. Every match I would watch for him for a long time, like 10 years ago, 12 years ago, back like 2012, 2014, 2015, even 2016, Cesaro would always impress me. And I would always make sure, because even if I would skip through other matches, I would always make sure to watch the Cesaro match, because he was getting good matches out of everybody back then. I remember his match he had with Sami Zayn was so good, so back and forth. And, you know, I remember the first time seeing him do the swing, and that was so cool, man, especially when he'd do it to big guys as well.
Yeah.
He was great, and he's so naturally strong. The guy was actually beating Cena's lifts, you know, for a guy with, like, you know, he doesn't look like he'd be that strong, but he is fucking strong. But right now he's just doing that Death Rider storyline with Moxley and AEW. It's the stench of death. It's fucking shit. The fans have really turned on it because so Moxley came in, Phil, and his whole storyline is we need to make AEW for the young guys, and we need to clear out the old guys and make room for the new, and we got to make this company better. So what does he do this week? He teams up with Chris Jericho. So it's just completely antithetical to the entire point of the storyline, and people have had enough, and they're freaking the fuck out about it. So, okay.
We've been corrected. It was Spawn Killer and a few other people saying that actually Braun Breaker is the son of Rick Steiner, the dog-faced gremlin, not of Scott Steiner.
Okay.
So I had it mixed up.
Yeah, I had it mixed up too. Okay, hold on. Can you hold the show for 90 seconds, Phil? I'm just going to go pee very quickly.
Go for it. Whoa, look at this. 2 fills. I don't know if this show can handle 2 fills. But if you are enjoying Smart Guys The Revival, please support the show. We have this idea to start watching AEW. I've never seen it before, and I'm down for it. But like Ashton said, it's got to be worth the investment. So if you want to see us review AEW as well as Raw, please support the show today in any way, whether it's super chats, super stickers, memberships on YouTube, whether it's subs on Kick, some tips. We only had like $2 in tips. I take it back. There was one $15 tip. Let's get some, that's right, double the begging. Someone said 2 fills, double the begging. Let's get some support going here on the stream today, and let's get some more names up there on the leaderboard. How do you like my new leaderboard, by the way? Pretty fancy and snazzy, huh? Got these improvements going to all of my content. I hope you guys are liking the show. Personally, I'm enjoying watching pro wrestling again. So I hope that you guys are liking my return to it after so long. So.
And I'm enjoying it as well. But what I'm not enjoying is the lack of support, damn it. Let's get some subs. Let's get some super chats. Let's get some tips. Let's make it happen, guys. We got to get to this $500 goal. We'll do AEW next week on the show. It'll be a massive double feature there.
Right.
So let's get some support flowing. Announcement, we're going to get Drew versus Seth next week on Raw. That's a big match. And it's every week now, these Raw main events, they're booking big matches. They're booking matches that feel consequential, that seem to have stakes with actual stars in them. And I just remember for the longest time, every Raw main event was like a 6-man tag where like they would end in a disqualification or a fucked finish. I've enjoyed that these last 2 main events of Raw, they've been actually like, you know, big consequential feud ending matches that have had clean finishes.
Right.
And, you know, guys have went over, and honestly, in my opinion, they were actually both pretty good matches, but we'll get there. Then Then we get Seth and Sammy talk for a second. Seth says Sammy must have had a great week helping Roman become the tribal chief again. And, you know, he's basically saying Sammy is like a traitor and that he's going to fuck them all over.
It's very weird because wasn't there a whole plot line where Sammy had joined the Bloodline and then they betrayed him? So then why is he helping Roman again? It's just kind of weird. I get it. Like, I get his point there is that it's kind of like, did you forget about, like, the whole thing where you got screwed over and they treated you like dirt? So it is kind of confusing. I was confused last week when Sammy came out to help Roman. I didn't understand that, but, you know, I haven't been watching.
I mean, with how many twists and turns and stuff they've done with the Bloodline storyline, I, again, haven't been following it week to week in months. So for me, some of this stuff is confusing as well with it. But I guess Sammy is still loyal to the, I guess, like they basically are running the same storyline with them that they've been running for years now, where is he loyal to the Bloodline or is he loyal to Kevin Owens or is he loyal to Seth and Cody or whatever? You know, it's Sammy's really, really over. People are still really invested in the guy and his part in the storyline. So I thought this was good. You know, short little backstage segment to build that tension.
All right, we just got some support here. We just got a $6 tip from $2 who said double the fill, double the fun, because there was two of me on the screen when you were on break there.
Do we really count that as support? $6?
Of course we do. Of course we do.
Oh my God. Let's do 60 next time, bud.
Well, how about this? How about Digital Bobby, who just gifted a bunch of subs over on Kick?
Well, a bunch of 5 subs is a bunch of subs now.
That's a good amount.
Holy fucking poverty we're in, buddy. It's going to be the lunch meat sandwich line for us at this fucking point.
All right.
But there we go. 5 big subs there. Let's get some more subs. What are we at for support now, Phil? Did we cross the 300 threshold?
We are 288 out of 500. 288.
God. Oh, no. Let's get at least a $12. If $6 is big support around here, let's get at least $12 right now to crush that $300 barrier, that threshold. Let's get within striking distance for a whale to get us over that $500 mark. So it's up to you, the smaller contributors right now, to cough up the $12. And then we're going to sound the whale call, sound the feasing horn, sound the whale call. And hopefully, if we do enough overtime tap dancing like a monkey, then the whale will grace us with the $200. And then we can get the AEW show fucking Iron Chef Sakai, Iron Chef Sakai. By God, it's only iced coffee with the $200 tip. Rare Tricks has gifted 3 subs.
Nice.
Let's go. There we go. There's the 12 plus
there we go.
3.
Plus 3 bonus.
Ooh, big spender. Big spender. So there we go. We're over the $300 mark.
There we go.
You're really making me fucking jiggle for this money today. They're really making me go into overdrive bag for this shit. You know, you guys could just give me the money and we wouldn't have to go through this bagathon. But yet, here we are. Here we are. Okay.
You know what's funny is people say whenever I clap like this, they're like, oh, you're copying Andy. I'm like, no, I'm actually just doing the emo from Kid. I like that emo. So I just started doing that. Like, you're copying Andy. I didn't even know that Andy claps. I don't even pay attention. I just like the emo a lot. I wish they had that on YouTube.
Now, the real question is who sways harder on the X and Y axis? We're sitting there listening in the pre-show, like, meeting room to the music, and me and Phil were both, like, autistically swaying in key. I was like, this is really good. We're both so autistic. This is the best. I found my wrestling buddy.
There you go.
And it's Phil.
There you go.
Okay, so we get hype up. Gunther is going to come out next. Miz and Killer Cross are backstage.
Oh, God.
Or Karrion Kross.
All right, let me talk about this segment.
Phil.
What the fuck happened to Karrion Kross? Like, this guy looks like shit. He grew out his hair looks terrible. He has fucking this awful facial hair now. And like, you know, when I saw him as debuting and he was, you had he had just come over. What promotion did they get him from? I forget where they got him from when they had acquired him, but he looked completely different. And then they botched him.
He was from Impact Wrestling, TNA.
Okay. So
and he had a decent run there as he was called Killer Cross. And his catchphrase was, "You never cross a killer." And he was like bald and muscular. He had these tribal tats.
Yeah.
And he was like pretty intense. And he had that Scarlet girl with him who was real sexy.
Right. Is that his wife?
I think so.
Yeah. So
I think he married her.
So he came over and they tried to do stuff with him. They botched it. Like in NXT, he was doing good.
Yes.
And then they brought him to the main roster and they dressed him up like a fucking Roman gladiator or some joke of a fucking Halloween outfit.
It was all a brutal humiliation ritual, Phil.
Right.
Let me explain what happened. So Vince McMahon, if he feels like a guy got with a woman that he doesn't deserve to have, he makes it his mission to bury that motherfucker. Like Chris Candido with Sable, you know, Rusev with his wife Lana, they're like Melina and fucking what's his name, Johnny Nitro.
Right.
You know, and like they had Batista cuckold him like in real life, and like Edge and Matt Hardy and Lita, you know, and Vince will always like do this shit because he has like sick fucking mentality there about it, and he tries to get them in various cuckold gimmicks or humiliate them in various ways. And I think that Cross was a casualty of that. Wow. Where Vince was like, your wife is way too sexy for you, and we're going to try and like ruin your marriage and, you know, get you guys divorced. This is like the games that he plays, you know. So I think that's kind of what it was, and they've just never done this guy right from day one.
Yeah, he looks fucking awful. And then he's with Miz. It's like, Miz? What the fuck does Miz have to do with Karrion Kross? Miz has been in this business for a long time. He's a multiple world title holder. Why would he be hanging out with this? Like, none of it makes any fucking sense from my perspective. I'm like, I don't know what's going on here.
So this is really rattling to me because they have those, what are they called? Occam and Rezar. You know what I'm talking about? That tag team?
Authors of Pain. Authors
of Pain. And so they teamed them up, and their manager, Paul Ellering, who's like one of the greatest managers of all time, I think, who was the Road Warriors manager back in the day and stuff like this. And they teamed him up with Karrion Kross. And they don't do anything with these guys. They're called the Final Testament. They're total jabronis, like total afterthought on the shows. I don't know why. You'd think they'd be the sort of guys that WWE likes to push. Big guys, muscular guys, you know, solid workers. I don't know. And they have him doing this weird storyline where they're like bullying The Miz into helping them fight the Wyatt Six. And it's like this whole Wyatt Six shit with Uncle Howdy. You haven't seen any of this stuff, but
I haven't. It's been in WWE Champions, so I know of it, but I've not seen it in real life. So I don't know anything about, you know, any matches or anything that have happened yet in that regard. Is it really bad? It looks really campy, so I wonder how bad it actually is. I don't know. It
just is. And like I was split on the Fiend stuff, like the Firefly Funhouse. There were times where I was like, oh, this is pretty good. And then other times it just got so silly and so cartoonish and so over the top. I'm like, holy fuck. Basically, after they lit the Fiend on fire, do you remember that?
I do remember that.
Where they burned the Fiend. Pretty much everything from that point on was like a fucking joke with that storyline. Remember there was like the WrestleMania, he lost to Orton. With like Alexa Bliss came out of the fucking box, and there's just a lot of nonsense. And now the guy is dead, and it's like a tribute to him because his brother's doing it. But it's just like, leave the guy alone. Like, leave his legacy alone. It kind of reminds me of, you remember when Eddie Guerrero died? And Rey Mysterio.
Everyone had to do a tribute to Eddie. Every single person was talking about Eddie constantly for several years. Yes, I know that. The thing is, I understand it. Like, if they're doing it as a tribute, but eventually the plot line's going to get stale, and then it's going to turn, and then people are going to be like, oh, well, is it really a tribute if it sucks? You know?
Yeah.
So I don't know what they're thinking the outcome of
But-
this is really going to be.
I don't know, like they've really pushed Miz like low down on the card here to where like I don't really know if this is fair to do this to Miz, to make him fucking Karrion Kross his fucking lackey and getting big dogged by fucking Karrion Kross. You know, Miz cuts a good promo here at Sammy where he goes, well, I've won 2 world titles and you've never won one, Sammy. And there's like an intensity there between them. But then the match we get later on was basically a fucking joke.
Yeah.
Okay, then we got Gunther makes his entrance, and yeah, Miz and Sammy is set up for later in the night.
Right.
What do you think about this Gunther promo?
Okay, first time that I've seen Gunther actually do a promo. You know, back when I was watching, he was still in NXT and he was coming up and he basically like never talked, right? I don't think back then, I think he's getting much better. Like he's much more elaborate on the mic. He's convincing. I like his character, Ring General. He seems like he's like this regal military guy. And the thing is, I haven't seen him wrestle recently. Now, I've heard he's amazing. Like, he's really, really good. So I'm excited to see him do a great match so I can get a vibe for his in-ring work. But as a character, I think he's believable. I like the look of the title. Like, I haven't seen this title belt either, this new World Heavyweight title. I like the look of it a lot.
Yeah.
It seems like it fits him. It almost seems like you know, when a military general will come out with a bunch of ribbons and adornments, and this belt kind of fits that. Like, it's that kind of a regal thing that he has. But yeah, like, I definitely enjoyed it. And then, of course, Jey Uso comes out, and
Yeah.
I just don't know how to react. Again, I said this last week. I went from Jey Uso being a tag team guy to now he's like main event Jey, and I just don't get it. Like, he comes out and he's doing his thing and yeet and everything, and it just feels like it's the era of like back in the day they used to have the wrestlers that were just all hype and no real substance to them, and that's what I get out of Jey right now. And again, I don't want to hate on the guy because maybe he's really worked his ass off to get to this position. I just don't think I like the character. Maybe the character is what's bothering me about this. He's like this hype man instead of a serious wrestler.
I mean, I'll give Jey this. The crowd loved him.
Yeah,
And they were
yeah.
eating out of the palm of his hand. They were reacting to everything. Huge, everything he was doing. They were so into it. That being said, I don't get it. I'm not into it. I've never been into it. I've always felt the guy was average at best, and I think Gunther kind of nailed it where it's like, you're a tag team guy. And that's really probably where he should stay, is as a tag team wrestler. Now, talking about Gunther's promo, now Gunther is not like Ric Flair, he's not Macho Man Randy Savage, he's not like this super high energy, you know, guy like fired up on cocaine or 12 Red Bull or whatever, right? He's not that. He's not like The Rock. He's not all these catchphrases. Right. But what Gunther is you believe what he says. Everything that he says fits his character really, really well. Everything he does and everything he says feel like exactly what his character would say or do in a given circumstance. And that's something I really appreciate about his character and the way he's being presented, is he's just being allowed to be Gunther. He's allowed to be that character, and he's really at home being that character. He's not trying to be something he's not. He's not trying to, you know, pretend like he's a John Cena or a Ric Flair or, you know, one of these guys. He's just like, he's the ring general. He's serious. He believes he's the best. He acts like he's the best. You know, when he hit Jey with, are you serious?
Right.
You serious? You're going to challenge me? You're naive.
He crushes him in this promo. He's like, you know, basically he says, I give you credit, but aren't you just a tag team guy? And don't you remember we just wrestled for the IC title last year and I beat you like twice?
He beat you twice. And
I didn't see it, but I'm like, dude, that's all crushed them right there.
And I like that continuity. I like that, you know, the continuity is brought up, you know, because for the longest time in wrestling, it felt like things happened and then they would never be referenced again. You know, like they just went into like a black hole of continuity. And it's just like you'd have guys who just hated each other like 2 weeks ago.
And now they're tag
then
team
so-
partners, and they
and
love
now
each
they're
other.
tag team partners or something like that. So I like to see that respect for the continuity by Gunther. You know, Jay cuts a fiery promo setting up the match for the world title at Saturday night's main event. I don't see any world in which Gunther is losing the world title to
I
Jay.
hope not. I mean, geez, he seems like a good champion. I want to see him become a champion on this new Raw and really represent. I don't want to see him drop the title right away. That would really suck.
Yeah. So now I have written down, show is an hour and 21 minutes in, and I've liked every segment. So I felt like through the first hour and a half of this show, which it went 2.5 hours, the show was about as good as you could have possibly expected. I felt like it had a lot of momentum.
Yeah.
It was really entertaining segment to segment to segment. And then we got to the women's intercontinental title match.
Well, one interesting observation, and I don't know if you would even understand it because you were watching in Canada, correct? So I think your version of the broadcast is probably slightly different from what I see. Last week when I was watching Raw, there were ads, like there were annoying ads, and I had to keep fast forwarding. There were no real ads this week. They had seemed to have streamlined the broadcast, and the only real ads in between were actually for like WWE events coming up and stuff. So I think they're trying to make it more, their ads are going to be the in-ring selling and shit like that, rather than having to run intrusive ads. And you're right, we're hour and a half in, and I'm looking, I'm like, so we're halfway into the show already, and it has been moving well, and the segments have made sense, and they're presenting characters and plot lines. I was like, this is actually a pretty good show so far. So I agree with you there.
And I think it was well constructed, like to start off with CM Punk and that promo, and then you move through into the Penta match and stuff. Like, I think it was laid out really, really well throughout this first half. Women's IC title match. So they did like a promo package before to try and get you invested in this.
Yes.
I haven't really seen too much of either of these women, or if I have, I've forgotten.
I saw a lot of Dakota Kai years ago when she was in NXT, and she was part of Team Kick. She had been in that Women's Mae Young Classic tournament at one point, and then she was teaming up with various people over there. I'd never really seen her since she hit the main shows, so I only kind of knew her old body of work from 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, I think I've seen her perform a bit, and I remember there was a lot of hype around this Irish bitch or whatever. I don't know. I have her name. I have written here, Irish bitch looks haggard and old as fuck in the face. Dakota Kai is also ugly, massive nose, unpleasant features. Not really sure when they decided to start hiring these ugly old dogs.
Come on. We are in the modern era of wrestling. This is not early 2000s Trish Stratus and Stacy Keibler. We are in the modern era. The women are now represented fairly to what is the modern expectation of what a woman would look like. So you're not going to have this over the top.
I need puppies, damn it. I need tits and I need ass. And I need it fucking now. Like, this is immediately like Goon Squad critical failure. Like, if I'm watching women's wrestling and I'm not even getting a half chub, the match has fucking failed to begin with.
Wow.
How old are these fucking women, by the way? And they're fucking caked in the makeup slop, and they still look old as fuck. I mean, look, like, it was in that initial promo package that they really looked weathered and run through and fucking, like, bull, you know what. Women, like, I don't know if this is Hunter's fetish, Paul, like Triple H's fetish for these like muscly old busted bitches.
Well,
but he needs to stop with like the colored hair and the muscled ugly old bitches.
Here's what
we need some fucking tits.
Here's what I'm seeing. At least I actually made an observation during the match as I'm watching the match and I'm watching the moves and everything, and I'm thinking in my head, when you think about athletes, right? Like, women, typically when you think athleticism of women, there's really two categories, like track and field and like Olympic gymnastics, right? Like, those are the big things that women are known for athletics. Now I'm thinking in my head, that's actually what they've done now. If you take a look at these women and their build, That's what they're going for. They're going for women that are flexible, that can do the spots, and they're not going to get hurt, and they're not going to look like shit because they're not going to botch every 5 seconds. I think that's what they're going for. It's no longer we're looking for this package of beauty and sexuality and presentation. They just want the women that can perform every week and be dependable in the ring, and that's what they're going for.
Where is the Playboy lingerie pillow fight?
Well, that's the thing. They're not doing that. They're not going to do that anymore. There will not be a Playboy issue.
Lingerie fucking pillow fight. I want these women in Playboy spreading their shit. Like, what the fuck is this? Holy fuck. I don't even know what to say. I said, these broads are rough looking. Where did they get these lot lizards?
Wow.
Women's IC belt looks cool. I like the white strap. I thought it looked cool. I'm going to be honest. I kind of checked out during this match. Like, I was nearly falling asleep witnessing these women that could not give me an erection at all.
Yeah.
I had my fucking lube. I had my oil out.
Wow.
I was ready for a sweet JO session. And then
I don't know.
nothing.
You're not supposed to admit that. You know that, right? Like, you're supposed to keep that to yourself.
Well, no, we're talking about women's wrestling. That's the whole point. The whole point of women's wrestling is masturbation.
Wow.
And if you can't beat it to it, the match needs to fucking beat it, brother. It's not going to work for me. Now let's get some fucking subs, damn it. I'm sure
we did get a tip.
The female viewers are really excited to donate as if there are already women watching. But like,
we did receive a generous $22 tip from the mackerels. The mackerels say we have pooled together to give you this tip. So okay, so we got a $22.
They pooled together. So what are we, 180 or 178 away, Phil?
We're getting there. Let's play the animation, and now we are at...
What's the secret signal to send for the whale call, Phil? Do we go like this, and the whales come?
We have to put out the whale signal.
Chef Sakai, can you hear me now? King
300.
Tut, can you hear me now?
We're at 323, so 177 to go to hit our goal for today.
We're only 177 away from the AEW review last week. Honestly, this is a bargain. You know what I mean? Normally, I wouldn't even get out of bed for this sort of fucking peasant coin. But, you know, I'm very generous to you guys to do this charity work. You know what I mean? So you best, like, support this. This is an important charitable cause. I need to eat 3 triple cheeseburgers per hour. And unless you guys donate, I might have to cut back.
Wow.
And then I'll be kicked off the Council of Obesity, and Phil will be the new leader. Okay. The match was okay, I guess.
Here's the thing. I liked it. I used to watch the NXT shows with these up-and-coming women before they ever hit the regular show. And Dakota Kai used to be part of Team Kick. She has a lot of kicks in her arsenal. You know what they used to say? She's like Chun-Li from Street Fighter. Like, that was her gimmick.
Yeah.
She was like Chun-Li. And so I get it. And to me, this equates to like a match of like The Miz against someone. Like, it's that kind of performance where they're solid. They're not nothing crazy over the top. Wow, I was blown away. But at the same time, it's a reasonable match. I'm not looking for the sexual content. They're good performers. They're not getting hurt. They're not botching. Is there anything like crazy over the top here? No. Like, there's no character work here that makes you excited for these women. But the in-ring work is solid. I think they got to work on building these women to be interesting characters, because I didn't get that out of the match at all. It was just like solid in-ring
package. I don't feel like it didn't do enough to like build them up. Like, it was just kind of generic and plain. The match was pretty plain, pretty average. Like, I give it 2.5 stars, right? Like, right about around 5 out of 10. It's an average, plain match. The Lyra girl won. Lyra Valkyrie won with her driver. I think it's called Nightwing or something like that.
Yeah, Nightwing, and yes, the Nightwing finisher. That's what I wrote here. So yeah.
And did you notice she had a really nasty bruise on her head after the match? Like, it was fucking swollen big time.
Ouch.
So,
by the way, Real Champa has just gifted 5 subs over on Kick.
subs. Let's go. How close are we now, Phil?
Now we
We're
are
closing in.
We are at 348, so 152 to go.
152. Come on now, guys. That's what? 32 subs on Kick? That's fuck all. And you're really going to hold us back from the goal today? Really? After all the work, me and Phil, I wrote 5 pages of notes. Phil has like a handy dandy notebook like Blue's Clues, Inspector Sherlock Holmes fucking out here, deciphering the wrestling, giving you the real takes that you won't get from the woke soy boys and commercially controlled fucking cartel of Marks and Smarks.
I bet.
We're giving you the real hot takes on masturbating to women.
That's right. Those people are so far removed from 2000s wrestling, they would actually tell you these women are hot. See, we're going to tell you like it is. You understand?
We're going to tell you like we were soft. There was just not even but a bit of hardness on the shaft there. And it was tough. It was tough. I was aching. My balls were blue. I was really expecting to bust. They fucking let me down. They promoted it as women's match. I'm like, holy shit, let me get the tissues and let me get those pants down.
Well,
then there was a WWE Champions commercial. Phil.
There was?
Phil, are you just willing to confess right now that you are and always have been down from the rafters? Just please stop lying to me. Stop lying to the audience, all of the people at home, all of the Philomaniacs in the DSP kingdom. You've been lying to them for years.
Wow.
Just come clean.
You know, I keep saying, I'm going to say it again. Yes, at one point, I was down from the rafters. I owned the account. I sold it. I'm sad that I did, because if I actually still had it, I would just close it right now and end all this bullshit.
Liar. You liar! You
Liar.
lie, Phil!
How dare you? Well, anyway, just so you guys know, the new Gunther in WWE Champions was just released, and he's Keno. He's one of the best characters in the game. But I don't own down from the rafters.
No. Okay, so let's start there. So what makes Gunther so good in the game? What is it about Gunther that's so sweet in WWE Champions?
Well, of course, it's the multiple builds. You can use him with multiply gems, but you could also use him with a protect gems build, and makes it so powerful that you can mix it up whenever you need. And also, whenever you get a new character in WWE Champions, they have unlimited move points for an entire month. You don't have to use move point trainers, so you can do your optimal combos without actually. By the way, we're actually not paid by WWE Champions to do this.
And he's the brand new card, isn't he?
He's the newest card, hot, fresh off the presses. No, I did not. I do not have him. I don't know what you're talking.
You just said that he was really sweet to play with, buddy. How many packs did you open to get Gunther?
Well, you know, just so you know, this next 3 weeks is going to be a real big crunch, because it's the new Hall of Fame event where they actually have wrestlers. I swear to God, I'm not making this up. Are living bronze statues in the game. They are made of pure bronze, yet they move like real wrestlers, and they expect you to spend money on them. So it's pretty funny. That's the next 3 weeks.
You are down from the rafters, Phil. Listen. You seem to know everything about the game.
I feel we're at an impasse.
Recent character. I saw that account apparently spent like $400 over the weekend.
I mean,
would probably be what it was to get the Gunther pack. No,
I don't get it. I'm a brokey. I don't make any money. How could I possibly afford to spend any money on mobile games? I just don't know where anyone's coming from with this kind of criticism.
Schrodinger's detraction in a way, because it's like either Phil's totally broke, or he has the money for WWE Champions, or it's because he's broke because he spent all the money on WWE Champions. Now, Phil, you said to me last week, Phil, this was the cope. This was the excuse. You said that you sold the account privately.
Yes.
Can you walk me through the steps of how that works?
Absolutely not, because then I'll expose my clandestine methods of doing it, and then people might trace it, and
Phil,
you know.
You're expecting all of us to believe that you located a black market that nobody else could, and managed to sell this account under the table on none of like the existing brokerages or none of the existing sites where you did this yourself, Phil.
That's correct. It was a secret network of Discord chats and servers. It was like super triple secret. talking behind the scenes to factions that I had worked with previously, and it was all done under the table. I cannot disclose. I would put other people at risk if I told my methods.
Phil,
There's
you've
no way.
never been in a black market in your life. You've never even bought a dime bag of weed. And we're supposed to fucking believe you're a clandestine Discord operator selling this account?
When I was 17 years old, I walked into a liquor store and I bought a pack of beer for double price. So I don't know what you're talking about.
Phil is a street smart, savvy guy, apparently. We're meant to believe this. Are you for fucking real, Phil? Phil, it is you. You are down from the rafters. You spent $400 on the Gunther pack. You're loving it. Just admit that it's you, and we can all let this end. Like, the lies must come to an end, sir.
Wow. Well, see, here's the thing, though. I don't know how I could be expected to be spending money on the game when we haven't hit the goal yet, so that we can review AEW for the week.
Let's hit this fucking goal, guys. It's only like 30 subs away. Let's hit it. Let's get this AEW goal. And then, if we get to 700, maybe we'll do the Grill Phil segment. We're going to watch all of Phil's biggest fuck-ups over the years or his most interesting lore on the Grill Phil segment. If we get to $700 today, we'll watch the story of the Wolverine toy for the 50th fucking time. So, detractors, it's time to open your Velcro wallets. Let's hit this goal. Let's hit the $700, and let's grill Phil about the Wolverine toy in real time. Otherwise, we gotta move on. We gotta fucking move on. But let's get some subs. Let's get some subs!
Let's get some super chats and memberships over on YouTube as well. It's been, dragging your feet over there. There's been a lot of subs on Kick, but I don't know. You guys are letting the Kick viewers show you up today. I don't know how.
Oh, my God. Tell me lies. Tell me sweet little lies. Tell me lies. Okay. Miz gets a jobber entrance. Actually, before that.
Oh, yeah.
March 1st is Cena's last show in Toronto, the Elimination Chamber. So they're promoting that. I could have got tickets for it. I decided not to. It's pretty expensive for what it fucking is.
Oh, what does it cost? I'm curious. What does it cost now for a pay-per-view ticket?
I think it's like at least $500 now to $700. Fuck. It was just really overpriced. I wasn't fucking feeling like paying, but then we've got Miz comes out. He gets a jobber entrance.
Yeah, nothing. No music, nothing. He's already in the ring. Like, wow.
Remember the way they used to present Miz where he had the blow up? Awesome.
Yeah.
And he would blow it out and he'd come through and there was Alex Riley holding the briefcase and stuff like that. He used to get really cool entrance. They've really jobbed this guy out, which, earlier in the chat, there were conflicting opinions on Miz. Some people say he sucks. He always has fucking sucked. Other people believe, Miz is really underrated. Miz has developed into a good worker, good on the mic. I'm kind of in the latter camp, especially when you consider all that Miz overcame in the beginning.
Right.
When he came in from the reality show, he was on the Real World and no one took him seriously and he wasn't tough enough. And
they hazed the shit out of him when he would arrive.
They hazed the shit out of him, shit in his bags, fucking made him change out in the hallway and just dumped on the fucking guy. But he worked through that. He got his respect. He got to main event WrestleMania. He's a 2-time WWE champion. Multiple-time Intercontinental champion. He's a tag champion, U.S. champion. He's like a Grand Slam champion. He's done a lot, and you'd figure they could do more for him than put him in this spot. He should be in some mid-card feud of substance, like either U.S. or IC title or something.
Shout out to Gamma Blocker, who dropped the sub on Kick. Thank you to Gamma Blocker for the sub. That got us to the 350. Yeah, we're over 350 now. Less than 150 to go to hit the goal.
Let's go. Let's get a hundo bomb right now. And let's take a big chunk out of it, guys. Let's smash it. Let's make it fucking happen today.
We're right there.
We're so close. Phil, Okay, we're going to give it a while before Phil does the emergency whale call maneuver. I don't know exactly. Phil hasn't quite taught me the tricks of the trade as to what constitutes the whale call
Oh,
maneuver.
hold on. I got to use my secret mind powers to mind control my audience and make them pay me for content. Now, ready? I'm going to do it. You're going to do the mind meld through the camera. to get
Hypnotize them, Phil.
the pignosis. The pignosis has
Pignosis.
begun.
Whoa, buddy.
Nothing happened. Shit.
The dolphin call. I'll settle for a dolphin call at this point if we can just get but 2 or 3 dolphins to fucking, coddle it together at this point. I hear the Velcro. I hear it. Do you hear it? The sound of hundreds of wallets opening at once and instantly being emptied into our bank accounts, Phil.
DSP cult leader. Oh, the unreadable Japanese kanji name did another €5 super chat and says, I am down from the rafters. They own the account. They own the account. They're the one who bought it from me.
A likely story, Uncle Phil. A likely story. I think that one's a fib. You're a big old fibber, Phil. Old fibber.
Zaneed with 5 subs over on Kick right now.
Oh, Zaneed, let's go, buddy.
And an anonymous gifted sub over on Kick. So that's 6 more right now. Let's get that added. And now we're up to 388. 388.
Now, Zaneed, I know you're here. I just saw a 5 from you. I need you to drop 25 subs for us to hit this goal. I'm not kidding.
All right, I gotta say something. Something. People give me, and my detractors especially, give me shit and say that I beg and everything. Do you not understand that this is first of all, yes, we want the support, but this is also comedy. At the same time, it's entertainment. Do you not understand that everyone does this? For some reason, I'm the worst person on earth because I ask for contributions to support my.
Need Pimp has gifted 25 subs.
There you go. Ask and you shall receive. That is how it works.
Jesus says, hallelujah, hallelujah. The begging has worked. Amen. Give us this day our daily bag, and the whales have come through, bro.
Here we go.
Well, now, Zaneed, we still need to talk about the 25 subs. If you could come through with it to support this show some more and get us towards the second tip goal.
That's right.
Which is a massive WWE matchup, dream matchup, years in the making between Darkside Phil and Duty. It's the King Phil universe colliding with the Detractor universe. And if we can just get another $500 today, we can see that match next week play out in all of its glory, in all of its autism. It's a dream.
Uh-oh.
It's a dream.
I just realized something, Ashton. I think the pignosis works because...
Yeah, no, it does, Phil. It does. I think we're the dream bag team, brother.
Oh, no.
We got to come up with it. The brothers of bagstruction.
That's great. Yeah.
Degeneration pig. It's the pig and the pig roach. Oh, you're going to open those wallets.
Very good.
You better get ready.
Well, thank you guys. No jokes. Thank you for the support. Week 2. I hope you're enjoying the show.
Right. So remember, though, if we get to $700, we'll do Grill Phil. We're going to do the story of the Wolverine
Oh,
toy.
my God. That's great.
How far are we away? If Zaneed drops, what is it, 40 subs? Or it's a little less than 40 subs.
A little less, yeah.
If we get 40 subs, we're going to do the Grill Phil segment where Phil is going to be held to account for the story of the Wolverine figure live on air. He's going to have to explain it and why his parents are such bastards. How dare they not fucking buy that toy? I'll tell you, Phil did nothing wrong, but we'll grill Phil.
Malcolm
did.
X with an Australian $7.99 super chat, which is the equivalent of about $5, says, I have no idea what the show is, but I was compelled by some unknown force to suddenly just give my money. Whoa, what's going on, man?
It's the pignosis. It's the pig rochikinesis. Ah!
Okay, cool.
Oh my.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much, guys.
No, let's be real. This is the bare minimum that we should expect. And honestly, it took a long time to get here. And so, like, I just wonder, it's like, what's going on? Where are the rich Chads at? Where are the guys day trading, making millions of dollars a day, who, while they're day trading on the Forex exchange, are watching Smark guys? And they're just going to fucking wail out, there she blows, Captain Phillip. Money out of the whale's blowhole. We're going to be rich, Captain Phil. We need it. We need it.
Real Shampa says,
enough.
Real Shampa says, rich people watch wrestling. Well, apparently they spend endless amounts of money on merch. They spend $500 on a ticket. They pay for multiple streaming services. I mean, yeah, wrestling fans actually have shilled out a ton of money. I used to know someone who went to one of the pay-per-views and he actually bought the ringside seat, you know, the folding chair. Let me tell you, that chair is a piece of shit. That chair is like the most generic, crappy chair. You spend like $1,000 to get this stupid piece of garbage chair you'll never sit on. Like, they spend money.
Well, PWR there says we want to hear the wrestling talk. This is going a bit too far now. All right, buddy. I'll get back to the wrestling talk. I'll tell you about Miz. I'll talk to you about Miz, buddy. But first, do you have some money? You got a $5, bro? Come on, hit me up. All right. Yeah, Miz got jobbed out here big time. Sammy basically just fucking squashed him.
Yeah.
Sammy won with the Blue Thunder Bomb for, I think, like only the third time in the history of his character on the show.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah.
Huh.
Okay. Then we have Rhea Ripley comes out. Oh, I wrote down after the Miz match, I said, show is falling off a little bit, starting to feel long. About 36 minutes left in this show. The show would be better as 2 hours instead of 2.5.
I agree. I think we talked about this last week, that the sweet spot for wrestling is 2 hours. You end up kind of shoehorning in more stuff when it's 2.5 to 3 hours, and then it ultimately will have filler segments that aren't very good. And I just think that they should be trying to shorten the shows ultimately. I don't think it needed the extra half hour here.
Yes. I agree, man. But I don't know, like next week it might be 3 hours. It seems like it's a fluctuating amount of time. The prevailing theory is they didn't do 3 hours this week because they thought the football game would be close.
Oh.
And so this is the theory anyway. And that therefore people would be switching to football to see the end of the game. But it was a blowout that I definitely did not bet on the LA Rams to win and cash a sweet check that's going to pay for my title belts there. Definitely not. Okay, Rhea Ripley came out. She's the champ now. She cuts a promo saying, Mommy is back on top. Thoughts, Phil?
Again, I missed the entire plot line where she did this with the Judgment Day, and it's just bizarre to hear someone say that, because obviously it's a sexual reference and there was a plot line there. Imagine if no, hold on a second. Imagine if the first episode of Raw you ever saw was last week, and now this is their first time she's on the mic and she's saying, Mommy's the back on top. Like, wait, what? Like, what the hell? Like, you fucking mind meld. Like, what are you talking about? Is this the kind of content that's on the show? Because the rest of the show didn't seem that way. I mean, we even talked about how the women's IC match didn't have any sexual content, and now all of a sudden she's talking like this.
Now, it would be a sexual reference to what, Phil?
To a woman being on top. In a sexual position.
Is that how you like it, Phil? That's how it has to be for me, buddy, or they won't survive the crushing weight of the pounding there. They're always on top there with PvP. Were you bricked up for it at all, or it just isn't doing it for you?
No, I'm sorry. Like we talked about it last week. Like when Rhea was younger, before she went all tattoos and this weird makeup and
Too
weird shit.
old.
She's just weird. Like I don't know. I don't get that kind of. I don't know. I just never did. I don't. It's not for me. So
Then we got Nia Jax interrupt. She's in this cheetah print
Oh.
abomination outfit from hell. Phil, thoughts?
insane booze. Now here's the thing. I only know of Nia Jax from back when, she was very green. And if she was infamous for hurting people in the ring constantly, like she was crushing people and getting into big trouble. And I guess at one point she got released and then she's back, then she's released and she's back again. I don't know what this history is with her, but she comes out looking terrible. And then the crowd erupting the loudest possible booze. Every time she can't even hear her talk because they're just drowning her out with booze. So I guess if they're trying to make her the biggest heel in the company, it's working. But I don't know if that's,
Is it real heat or is it like go away and never fucking come back heat?
Exactly. Is it that they built this character that you don't like because of the plot, or do you just not really like her and you want her gone? Just get the hell off my TV.
I think everybody fucking hates her, to be honest, and wants her to go. Remember, did you see the spot where she fell on her crotch and she went, ow, my hole? Did you see that?
No, I haven't seen that. No.
Ow, my hole! It was fucking cringe, dude.
Oh, my God.
They already fired this bitch once before, and now they've brought her back again.
So why does she keep getting bring back? Is it because she's related to The Rock? Is that the only reason?
I think so, but like she's only like 5'9" in real life.
Wow.
So like you meet her and she's not really this towering, imposing, like, she's just like the height of a normal man. And she only weighs like probably 250, maybe 300.
Huh.
I'm just dominating her in size there. It's so much bigger than Nia Snacks. She's got to lay off the fucking snack foods there. Holy fuck. Bursting out of that cheetah print abomination. I have written, Nia on the mic is hard to listen to, but the crowd hates her. She calls out Bailey and Bailey starts talking, which is hard to listen to. It's in her hometown. And she calls Nia a big old dumb idiot, verbatim. She's a big old dumb idiot.
Gotcha.
It was cringe.
Yeah, I agree.
It was fucking cringe. It sucked. It was fucking brutal to listen to. I don't like how Bailey has been in this company, what, 12, 15 years now?
A long time. Yeah.
It's been like over a decade and she still doesn't know how to fucking talk.
Yeah. Remember her best plot line ever was when she was supposed to be like a fan that became a wrestler and she has inflatable balloons and shit. At least then she's kind of buy it. You can buy it because it's like, oh, she wasn't supposed to be a real wrestler, but now she is, right?
Yeah,
but now it's a decade later. Like, you can't even talk yet. Like, what is going on here?
I liked her as that like underdog, baby face, like bubbly, kind of, naive character. Now she's just this lesbo. I don't know what the politically correct way to say it, but she's like a hog. And she's not looking good. This purple hair and just busted and old. Vince had the right idea. The moment these girls hit 30, send them to fucking TNA. Send them to the fucking trash. She's haggard. She's old. She's fucking a lesbo and shit. I've had enough. The segment was really bad, Phil. It wasn't it? Like, I don't even know what to say. They all started fighting. Nia got thrown out of the ring. And then it's to set up a fucking match there.
It's dumb because this is the first time for a lot of people that they're hearing Rhea Ripley talk, and now she's the champion, and it didn't really do anything for her at all, in my opinion. Like, it was just a confusing segment and didn't really go anywhere, and quite messy. And like you said, Bailey didn't do her any favors. If she's coming back, I guess she's coming back or whatever, but it made her look bad too. And not Nia, everyone just hates Nia, so not a good segment.
Lady Charisma is getting offended. Let's remember, this is a proud ally show, proud feminist show. We love women, right? We love women. As long as they're young and good looking, we love them.
Well,
if they cook, if they clean, we love them.
it's just like
You
I said
know,
when I appeared with these guys and we did our co-commentary on the Review Tech USA documentary. Our comments are our own. They're representative of our own
it's
opinions.
Not, listen, don't hold Phil accountable for anything I say. Phil disavows. Phil is a proud ally to women.
And Ashton does not spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on mobile games. So there you go. You get
No, I just wasted on gambling sports. And that's a way more socially acceptable use of funds. It also goes to a fast food and chip addiction. So, then we get news. JBL returns next week. Whoa,
Oh, yeah.
holy fuck. It's the return of John Bradshaw Layfield there.
And I don't know, I guess he's just coming back. Is he doing commentary? I don't know, because he's been wrestling in other leagues. Isn't that true? He's been doing appearances and stuff in other federations, which is weird.
I always really liked JBL. Like, when I was growing up, JBL was probably my favorite wrestler. You know, I always just thought JBL was so cool coming in the limousine, and, you know, he hated Mexicans, and he went down to the border and kicked the illegal immigrants out himself. He was always, like, borderline racist, and he was, like, a Republican, and I was like, yes, I love him. And he had the thickest, juiciest thighs. When you saw JBL's thighs and that ass that he had back then, it was dreamy. It was amazing.
Whoa.
So
man.
JBL coming back, I'm bricked up for, excited for JBL. The zest is strong. I've got a big man boner there for him. So exciting to see JBL back. Realistically, he's not going to do anything. I don't know. I think he could be a manager for somebody, like a mouthpiece. He was always a good heel, a good promo. Then we get Damian Priest versus Finn Balor street fight.
Right.
So I'm going to be honest. I don't like either of these guys. I fucking really, really find Damian Priest, or as most people call him, the LGBT Undertaker, to be very cringe. Or not just cringe. He's just like, he's very mid. He's very mediocre to me. He's almost like a creator wrestler, like a generic fucking wrestler that you would get. To me, he doesn't really have much of a character. His promos are pretty average. He's decent enough in the ring. But the thing is, they're pushing him like he's this next young face of the company or whatever. But the guy's fucking old. Like, let me type in here. He's 42 years old, folks.
Oh, God. He's ancient.
He's fucking as old as the hills and the fucking dirt. So they're trying to present this guy like he's the superstar of the future. But realistically, he's got maybe 5 years at best in him. So when they're going to have to make him superstar like right now, and I don't think he's ready yet to be like the main event guy. I think they've wasted a lot of resources on him. Finn Balor also, like when he first came to the company in NXT, he had a really good run. The demon character had a lot of aura to it.
Right.
The entrance was really cool. I remember everybody being really into it. And then they started like nerfing the entrance for him. It started being less cool. Then they, you know, they jobbed out the demon. Like they had the demon fucking lose.
Right.
And I don't think he ever really recovered from that. I don't think he ever really recovered from the injury, because they had him as the first ever Universal Champion,
right,
which
then,
was the new lineage of belt. And then week 1, he's fucking injured.
Yeah. Oh, way unfortunate, because I remember that was supposed to be a big thing. He was going to be like the face of the company, and everyone was so excited, and it fell right on its head. And you're right. Since then, I haven't watched the last, 4 or 5 years, but I don't even get his character anymore. Like, I don't know who he is or what he stands for. I guess he's the leader of Judgment Day, but what does that mean? Like, what do they stand for? Like, his entrance music is confusing now too. Like, again, it's kind of similar to Seth's, where it's not that good anymore. It's just kind of more generic. I'm like, I don't get it. And in ring, he's a good performer, and that's about it. Like, I just don't get it anymore. I don't get his character or anything about him.
You also, like, how old is fucking Finn Balor now? Like really? He's 43 years old. So, and this is a guy that was known for his high flying, his quickness, his agility, and how well that's really aging, going forward also. So, and then this storyline, I feel like these guys have been feuding forever, kind of spinning their wheels, disappointing. And so my expectations for this match were so fucking low. And I was sure it was just going to be a fucking stinker and boring as fuck. But I was really, really pleasantly surprised with this match.
I liked it too.
I really liked this match. I thought it really, really delivered. And that's coming from somebody who doesn't really like either of these guys, not really invested in these guys. But as these guys worked this match, I started to buy into it. I started to get excited for it. I really like this kind of match. I really like the brawls that go around the arena, the use of weapons. There were some really cool spots in this match. Like Priest, and them, they're fighting through the arena. They go up to higher and higher levels. And then over the barricade through a table, fucking Priest hits Balor with this like package pile driver thing. It was a really cool spot.
Sick,
and
yeah.
It was really cool. And now the thing is, AEW does this a lot, so it's kind of overexposed now if you watch AEW. But this doesn't happen very often in WWE, that they do these spots where it's higher up. This was probably 10, 15 feet off the ground, through the table. It looked really cool. And then from that moment on, like, I was into the match. I was like, okay, they're trying to give us a really good match here. This is a main event match. This was a match that they could have put on a pay-per-view. You know, for real. This is a pay-per-view quality match as the main event of Raw for 2 shows in a row.
Right.
Which it's really exciting to see that. I was really happy about that. Then we had them, Balor just goes on a stretcher. He's being wheeled out of the arena.
Oh, yeah. This is classic, like, old-time Raw. They would do this. They're going, the match is over. He's on the stretcher. And they're like, but no one got pinned. And he pulls him off the stretcher, starts beating the shit out of him again, throws him down to the ring. It's like, I get it. Like, I like that. It's kind of campy. But in real life, I mean, you're going right to jail if you do that. But it's still funny.
But he starts beating his ass on the stretcher. He beats up all the other members of the Judgment Day. He rolls him back into the ring. He hits a clothesline. Looks like he's about to finish him off, but in comes Carlito with a backstabber. Then Judgment Day, they're beating the shit out of Priest. They hit a bunch of moves on him. Then they put Balor on top of him. You think maybe this would be the end of the match, but Priest kicks out.
It's so dumb. It's no DQ. Why not you all hold him down so that he can't kick out? It's like, what are you doing?
Exactly. Well, I always think about those no DQ. It's like, why don't they just bring a gun or a knife? You know what I mean? Or just hire like 50 guys to come out and beat the shit out of their opponent. But, that's the way it is. If you think too hard about wrestling, you're doing it wrong. Probably.
Exactly.
Then they set up a table to put Priest through, but the War Raiders come out.
Yes.
And
the War Raiders, not the Viking Raiders, the War Raiders come out. So that was good.
The War Raiders. Yeah, it's good. They showed them last week, and apparently they're the tag champs, which I didn't know.
Oh.
But they're apparently the tag champs. I do like the new design of the tag team titles. They're very reminiscent of the SmackDown tag titles they had in the mid-2000s when I was a kid. So I like that design. I'm just nostalgic for it. Then, Priest hits a choke slam. Balor kicks out. I thought that might have been the ending, that choke slam there, but no. Then Balor turns it around, hits a coup de grace through the table.
Right.
Which was another really cool spot. Really fun. Then Priest rams him through the barricade, which I always really like. I really like the spear or the shoulder tackle through the barricade. Whenever I see that, I always think, oh, this is a big match now. This is like a hype match. Because you see it a lot in like the Brock Lesnar match.
Right.
The
Always
Goldberg,
Brock.
and
Batista always going through there.
Now, somebody said earlier in chat, Batista won the title at 45, which he did, but I don't think Damian Priest is Batista. Which, by the way, Batista looks like a totally different person now.
Yeah.
Like, it's not even like he just aged or something. Like, everything is different. Like, he must have been on so many steroids back then.
You can
His
tell.
endocrine system is fucked. And he's like, I don't know, all sissy and weird now is Batista. Like, he looks strange. I'll say that.
Yes.
Okay, Priest rams him through the barricade. Then Priest razor edges Balor through the table, and they called it the Razor's Edge, which I like, which is a good spot. Then Priest with the choke slam, 1, 2, 3. I thought it was a really good brawl. I think this actually was probably the best match we've seen so far. I was going to give it 4.25 stars. Great Raw main event. Ended that feud on a high note. Hopefully they move on and do other things with these guys. What did you think, Phil? What would you rate it?
I would give it probably about a 4.25 out of 5.
Yeah.
For me, I love these matches that feel like old Raw, where you could do whatever you want. There's no DQ. You got guys running in, but then there's a good ending. And that's what I liked. It wasn't a bullshit screw job ending. They both hit their spots. They both look good as performers. Some really solid ring work, but also crazy spots going through tables and coming from giant heights down. Really felt like old school Raw to me. And that's why I thought it was definitely, match of the night for me.
All right, now before I get into my final thoughts on the show and everything, I do want to remind everybody that we're close to the grill fill goal. If we get to $700 in support, we'll watch the story of the Wolverine toy with Phil. So just letting you know, whale call, final chance for us to either hit the $700 grill fill goal or the $1,000 Duty versus Phil dream match in WWE. Just saying, guys.
There was a $12 tip that came in during that segment. They said, "Oh, goodness me, seems like I've accidentally tipped. Goodness gracious me." So thank you for that.
Goodness gracious you. I think it was the pignosis got to your mind. It was fucking rotted out, and you're now dented, sir. But we appreciate you here in the dented army. Woo!
Woo!
All right. Woo!
Very good.
So I'd say this. I honestly expected this Raw to be a huge step down, like a return to the business as usual slop, like I remember it being. But this episode kept the momentum, and it really built my confidence in Raw going forward. I felt like this was actually a more important show and a way better show than last week's, because they were able to put together a show that was good with the stars they're going to have week to week. Last week, it was a reliance on The Rock and Undertaker and Hulk Hogan and Triple H and all these special appearances they're not going to get week to week.
And even SmackDown stars were on last week, like Roman and Solo, and they're not going to be involved in these plot lines on Raw. So now they're going to be more to the SmackDown side, and it's going to be focused just on these Raw guys every week.
Yeah. So I was really impressed with what they were able to do. I think it was more impressive than what they did last week. I thought it was really good. Lots of momentum for the first hour and a half. Then in that second hour, kind of really slowed down, started to drag. But then the main event at the end was really engaging, and I think really saved and elevated the show. I'm going to give the show an 8 out of 10. Actually, this week. And I really thought I was going to go a lot lower. I thought the show was going to be a 6 out of 10 at best. And I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. Now, again, that's on a modern wrestling scale. I have to judge it by the standard. Like, honestly, like if this was an Attitude Era Raw or something like that, it would probably be a 5 out of 10, or like a 4 out of 10. But for what wrestling is today and what WWE is trying to accomplish going to Netflix, I think this was a really successful second episode, and it makes me want to keep tuning in. And they've had decent matches, decent segments, nothing that's just unwatchably fucking bad so far where it's just a total stinker and you go, that makes me feel stupid for watching,
right?
Which you would get a lot of.
Right.
This, like, there's really good high points, and then everything else is at least decent enough to where you can watch it and give it attention. And I didn't feel like I was going on my phone, like, the whole time. You know what I mean? Like, the odd time I would go to my phone or check out something else. But for the most part, I was pretty engaged on doing the show, writing down my observations. I had a really fun time with it. What would you give the rating for the show, Phil?
I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10.
Yeah.
And my reasoning is, number one, I do feel like there was a small downgrade in presentation from last week. I don't know if that's because, like we said, the size of the crowd in the arena was slightly smaller. What I liked about the show was that instead of last week where it was just 4 big plot lines and then a few things in, you actually got a lot more plot lines now that are advancing. You're going to get to see some of the other characters that are going to be on the show advancing their plot lines. We had the end of a few plot lines. What I will say is this: it was 2.5 hours long this week, and the first half was great. The second half dragged a bit, but like you said, the final match was really good. Now, if this show ends up going longer, like a 3-hour show, I'm nervous because then they're going to start to have other characters and other plots come in. And at what point is it too much in 1 week? And another thing is, now you're establishing the characters who are going to be on the show every week. But what if next week some of these people aren't on and now there's another slew of people? Because that's what was bad about the old Raws. There's too many characters at once, and then you don't get enough of the characters that you care about, and then you get bored. You're like, oh, I was watching Raw for so-and-so. They're not even on this week. I'm bored now. So I hope that they stick to a cast that is small enough that you can follow and get invested and care. And I guess we're going to see moving forward if that's what they're going to do. But overall, I liked it. It was definitely watchable. It wasn't necessarily boring. There was some big question marks, like what the hell happened to Karrion Kross and Miz, stuff like that. Overall, the wrestling itself was good, which is always a good thing. Some of the match outcomes were great. So definitely enjoyable. I'm looking forward to following the product leading up to the Royal Rumble, because that historically is one of my favorite pay-per-views, and I want to see what the plots are going to be going into that. So
okay, you have 3 stars for tonight, Phil?
The 3 stars of the night. Number 1, I'm going to give a shout out to Penta, being his debut. He did a good job. He was heartfelt in the ring and with the promo after, even though you couldn't really understand. You could tell that his heart was in it. He did a great job of introducing himself as a character and a worker. I actually said I liked Gable, and here's why. All right, you may not like him right now, but he is so much better now than when I used to see him jobbing every week and losing to freaking, the Lone Wolf and all that shit. And it was like, dude, it was so unbearable back then. And even though you're right, he's a knockoff of Kurt Angle, at least the people are respecting him. He's doing something that has some fun to it. I enjoyed that. I was not disappointed with seeing him in that position, although you're right, he could do better than just being a second-rate Kurt Angle. At least he's doing something. And then I'm going to say my third favorite this week was actually Gunther, because this was the first time I got to see him in a promo hold his own, destroy Jey Uso, which was really cool, and to see him presentable as a champion. I hadn't seen him like that before. I'd only seen him in early NXT stuff, so I definitely liked him this week.
Okay, my 3 stars, I agree with you. Penta, number 1, seems like he is the big story coming out of the show. All the buzz is about him. He had a great debut, really good match with Chad Gable. I have the 2nd star, even though I'm not into him, I thought Damian Priest had a really good match, was really good with Finn Balor. I thought it was the best match on the show, so I had to reward that. And then I have CM Punk. I thought he brought a lot of legitimacy to the beginning of the show, helped carry that first segment, set up the momentum. In terms of the jabroni of the week, I have Miz. I felt like Miz was really jobbed out and treated like shit. Made to look foolish and retarded, so.
For me, at first, it was going to be Karrion Kross, because when I saw him, I literally burst out laughing with how he looks. But then when Miz was presented as this bad jobber, didn't even get an intro to his match and just jobbed out so bad, it definitely has to be Miz at this point. That's pretty sad. I hope things turn around for the guy at this point.
Yeah. Well, I guess that's it for Smark Guys episode 2. So we hit the goal. We'll be doing AEW Dynamite coverage next week on the show.
Now, when does Dynamite air? What night? So I know to catch
Wednesday.
it.
Wednesday at 8. So check it out. We'll check it out this week. We'll be covering it on Tuesday of next week. And maybe if we continue to get good support like this, we'll do 2 shows a week, maybe one of WWE, one of AEW, but we'll have to see how the ongoing support is. I think if we hit 500 next week as well, then we might also do the match between Duty and Phil anyway. that might be the goal, but we'll discuss it as a DSP community there, and we'll come back. It was a pleasure doing the show with you again today, Phil. I had a lot of fun. It's really fun doing wrestling, and I'll see you next week.
Sounds good, everyone. Thank you for watching, whether you were on YouTube, on Kick, or maybe you're watching on demand after the fact. I hope that you enjoy. And by the way, give us feedback. We want to hear your opinions on the show.
Lots of comments. Let us know what can be improved. Maybe less begging. I maybe went a bit crazy today, but we had to hit that goal for AEW, and we appreciate it. I'll see you guys next week. Peace.
Thank you all. See you next time.